Hey, there we go. All right. Hello, everybody out there. Come on in. We don't bite hard.
Hey, speak for yourself. I nibble. I just nibble. Just nibble. We are live.
Welcome. Yeah, we're live. We are here. Good old Indie Vault. Back at you again. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. I gotta tell you, Randy, it's been a very busy week in just I want to say pop culture for me.
For you?
Yeah, for me. I think especially for me, because there have been things that were announced, things that are doing that I'm like, man, that's something that I really want to do and I want to see. And
yeah, you're all excited about Detective Comics, aren't you? Yes, I knew you were.
No. But we got questions to ask tonight, or questions that have been asked of us tonight. We'll get around to those. Grant Lanker in the house says, hey. Dorothy says, "Hey, Randy, Dorothy. I just got Dorothy. I got an email from Dorothy. I just checked my email today, and I see it on an email, and I didn't see it earlier, which is weird. My email's been acting very weird. Stench, hey, Stench. And I do want to say also, we'll get to that too. We'll get that. I got a from Indie Vault Radio. I had a guy who told me that he's been having an issue getting packages out of his comics, and it's starting to cost him several. Yeah, it costs him a lot of money. We'll get to that too.
I just want to say
we're putting the band back together.
Just so you know.
Yeah, there's so much going on right now. So we're gonna hit the intro. I'm gonna run the intro, and then we'll get right back at it and right into it. Here we go, gang. Everybody hold tight.
Hold your ears.
Yeah, there we go. So, everybody, I am Varian Grant. I've been making comics since 2008. I am the founder of Indie Vault Media. Oh man, it's been a long week, but I'm a comic book artist, comic book publisher, occasional writer, actor, reluctant taxpayer, father, geek husband, all that stuff. I took it out of order, but you know me. You know who I am, and I'm here as I am with every week.
Well, I am, yeah.
Mr. Randy Zimmerman. Hello, Randy. How are you?
Hey, everybody. How are you? I'm good. Hey, everybody. I'm Randy Zimmerman. You can call me Zim, though. And I've been doing comics for many, many decades, and I've done just about everything in the direct market that you can imagine. A lot of times, more than most. I've been doing comics since before most of you were born. Freelance with a lot of people. I currently do sequential work for commercial advertising and educational purposes. And I'm part here of the Indie Vault Network. I also have a YouTube channel that I hardly ever put videos up on. So I've been lazy when it comes to that.
So. Your YouTube channel is entertaining, though. There are a lot of things on there you can learn. You do history lessons in comics. You do art tutorials. There's a lot of stuff on there. I think that if a person starts digging through,
can learn how to draw hot stuff, the little devil over there.
And I'm telling you, the more you look at it, the more you subscribe, the more Randy will be forced to do. Forced to do it.
Forced to do it.
Yeah. Randy, I got a question I want to start off with from Indie Vault Radio. It was last week's question. We didn't get a chance to answer it.
We should probably warn everybody before you do that, though.
Yeah.
Hang on just a second here. Where is it? It was there. There it is. The views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Indie Vault Media, LLC, and do not reflect the official policy or position of any guest or sponsors. Viewer discretion is advised. This episode sponsored by Liberty Entertainment Distribution. For more information on that, you can go to www.ledg.us. Do it now.
Do it now.
Do it now.
So from Indie Vault Radio, question that came in, and we are live on Indie Vault Radio night now. Don't have numbers, but give me about 6-7 minutes, and I will. One of the things that came in was from a gentleman who goes by the name of Jay, but Jaye, and he says, "Hey guys, I put out some comics." He says he's got 2 comics and a T-shirt. He had to send them overseas though, from his website, and he was shocked because the T-shirt and the 2 comics are going to cost him $88.77 to send overseas. He got to send them to the UK, and he's very upset about that. Jay,
is that possible? How is he sending them like that?
Well, according to him, it's in a small box. He's got the T-shirt folded with the 2 comics bagged and boarded, and he's got them in a box, and it's no more than 2 pounds.
Comic books, 2 comic books and a T-shirt.
Yeah,
you ought to be able to stick all that in a bag, put it in an envelope, tape it up real good.
Oh well, yeah. Is the soft packaging cost? Is it cheaper? So like this, like a flexi envelope, not a flexi envelope, but
well, they're not going to be able to bend it anyway. If you throw a couple of boards in there, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't see it charging that much though. Maybe he needs to talk to his postal person, and if that's the system that they want him to use, maybe he should jump over to another nearby post office and try to mail it and see if they can find somebody more amicable. Because $88 just seems. I know shipping is high.
Yeah.
I do. I don't think it's quite that high. I think that's probably 10 times more than he should be paying.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not 10 times more.
Lowe's actually kept
$20 maybe. Lowe's
having a similar problem. Someone ordered something from her, and hers was $60 or $70 to send
to ship them.
Yeah, to ship it to the UK. And she was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to ship this. This is gonna be really expensive."
Wow.
And we estimated that to be a pound, 1 pound, 50 ounces.
Anybody in the chat mail anything out to Great Britain lately? Are the shipping costs really just crazy like that, or what? Anybody know?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link to join in the chat too. If some people want to pop in. JD says, "I'm back on this damn train." What's up, people? Hey, JD. Then says, "I'm joined the hellscape with Twitter. It's quite cozy." He won't be on Stench. Stench is going to end up being on Twitter for all of 2 months, and I'll get up and find out. I'll go to his account and this account no longer exists.
Account's been deleted. He'll say something.
Jason Moore, good evening. Good evening, Jason.
Good evening, Jason.
And then he says, "This 1 pound."
Again, Jason, you're always welcome on here. Just let us know whenever you're ready. So just 1 pound of that shit and hope for the best. Oh, just 1 pound that shit and hope for the best.
Something he's doing wrong. That's too much for shipping. I agree.
I'd be pressing the hell out of that shirt and flattening it as much as I possibly could. Stick a couple of backing boards there, a couple of books in a bag, tighten it up tight, put it in a nice envelope, tape the envelope up real good.
Yeah.
Hope for the best.
Yeah, I was gonna tell him too. Maybe
one of those bubble wrap envelopes. Maybe
check DSL. Check DSL. Wow.
Check UPS.
DHL.
DHL.
Yeah.
Check. What is that? Yoon? No, don't check Yoon. Still waiting on a package from Yoon, by the way.
Check FedEx and see if you can get a better rate from somebody. It's $88 is a lot to pay for 2 comics and a T-shirt.
Is that Dean or Denny?
Denny, yeah, Denny. Oh, I always say Denny. Because when I see his videos, I'm like, Jesus, man, stop driving so quick.
Danny, your driving worries us when you're when you do a video.
Yeah,
we've watched you drive, and we are concerned for your not for your driving abilities, but buddy, I keep telling Varian one of these days, one of your videos is going to end up on Fail Army. You're not careful, buddy.
I seen today, Randy, and
we mean that in just the good spirit it was intended to. But don't think that we're over criticizing your driving abilities. Just sometimes you seem to have that set up at a higher speed than what we're used to watching. But we're in Michigan anyway, and I know New York traffic or Chicago traffic is all anyway.
Yeah,
zip zip zip.
I accidentally did say DSL and
DHL.
I think she had DSL. Yeah, delivery. True. Yeah. But yeah,
we are TVMA DLSV, by the way.
Try those different places because again, $88 for Randy. You ship T-shirts. I've shipped a T-shirt and it costs less than that.
where the L stands for lips. I haven't sent anything over to Great Britain in many, many, many years. So maybe Glenn or Russ might know if things over there have gotten ridiculous, and they might have. You never know, because they've Brexited or whatever, and kind of they're free floating out there, and things here have gone crazy as far as shipping rates go. But we've got everything goes through a small, almost like a funnel into Pittsburgh, it seems, before it goes out. I can mail a letter to Flint, which is 2 miles away. I think it still has to go through Pittsburgh before it gets back up to
I just found out that when it comes from Pittsburgh, it has to go back to Pittsburgh.
Has it?
Yeah, I ordered something that came from Pittsburgh. It came out of Pittsburgh, went to Grand Rapids, went to Detroit. Now it's back in Pittsburgh and coming back. I'm like,
they're just running that through the system, aren't they?
Yeah. Then he says, I do at least 80 miles per hour. Yeah, I watch your videos and I'm like, it's like Need for Speed. If you know, the first time I thought that's a really realistic video game. What is he playing? Hey,
maybe it's the frame rate on his camera. It's better. I'll start listening to his videos and having Benny Hill running in the background.
Yeah. I was at I went to an art store today, and an art store that most people don't want me to go to, but I went there because they had art supplies. And Grant said shipping should be easy for me. I'm from Pittsburgh. Yeah, all our mail runs in Pittsburgh, so in Pennsylvania.
They just run it all over the place anymore. Jeez, it's crazy.
So I hear this lady scream and it's thud. And I look over, I'm like, what is that sound? And I see a lady on the ground laying next to her car, and she's been hit by a car in the parking lot of the art supply store. And, I and many others are yelling, don't get up, don't help her. There's, of course, there's a crowd of people wanting to help her up. And the art store employees, because they're so damn...
Well, they're worried. They want to get her up and out of that parking lot.
Yeah, she had already made a purchase. She was on her way out. Mm-hmm. They rush out. They pick her up. They put her in a wheelchair and wheel her back in the store. And I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Why did they do that?
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm like, why are you wheeling her back in the store? Like, that's now you guys are liable. Yeah. Oh gosh, I know that they're a Christian-based organization, but you post a letter. Plus, she may have concussion. She may be, injured, and you guys got to be careful. Mm-hmm. JD says at that point, speaking about the print, the two books, T-shirt.
At that point, it would be best to just refund the order than to ship the order. Yeah.
$88 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money to ship, and Lola's going through that right now herself, and she's like, well, I don't want to pay $77. The person they only paid me $30, and I don't want to pay $77 to ship it. And I'm like, yeah. So she's got a similar problem from a couple days ago. So this isn't the first time we heard that, unfortunately. Randy, you want to get into the question? Should I bring them up on the screen?
Do you want to see if anybody else wants to come in?
Sure. I'll put the link in the chat. Or you go see. I'll put the invite link out there. Give me 1 second.
I'm going to go out and invite a couple people personally and see what's happening. I talked to Scott Rosema earlier today.
All right, here we go. I'll put the link out there if anyone wants to pop in and talk comics, and we're going to weigh in on some of the questions very soon here. We already got 2 tonight, but then we got a couple from Indie Vote Radio, which I don't have, cards for, but we will get to those.
Hang on, where is he? There it is. Nope. Let's see if we can get Russ or that'd be late. Too late for Russ and Glenn, wouldn't it? This is the evening. This is the evening show. So
yeah.
That would just be 3 a.m. Ding.
Yeah.
For them. Whoa, what?
What do you bloody want?
Yeah. I don't think it'd even be that nice.
Yeah. It'd probably be the other word for bloody.
It'd be more like what the bloody hell.
Yeah.
What the bloody hell?
Oh, he's been. Yeah. So there's been well, when a woman got hit, I'm just watching her lay there, and people trying to come out and help her, and she's like really holding her wrist, and she's rocking back and forth, and people keep trying to help her up, and finally they get her into this wheelchair, they push her inside a Hobby Lobby. And
you weren't going to name the store, but it's too late now.
Yeah. I messed up, but yeah, it's It's like, you guys probably shouldn't have whatever. You guys probably shouldn't have took her in the store. Joining us is old Stench. Hello, sir.
Hey, people.
Hey, Stench, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Living in the upside down.
Living in the upside down?
Mm-hmm. I went to sleep around like 3, and I woke up 9 p.m. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm having one of those funky hours again.
I remember a friend of mine when he flew home from Korea. It was he basically he went to the past. And so when he went home, he said, "I have to go back to the future." And so he thought it was hysterical that he had actually lost the day, but got it back, and then he would go back and lose his day all over again, which is kind of cool. Yeah. What do you? Oh, I didn't show you guys.
Sideburns wants to know who's blocked you already, Stench. It's only a matter of time.
It's that fucker Dan Slot. Everybody knows that he's going to insta-ban me.
Did he already? He already banned you? 10 points if it's Steve Shives?
I haven't even checked, man.
Oh.
Steve Shives, probably. I'll look it up.
He's probably got you on a blockchain. I'm thinking he's already got me on a blockchain. I don't even talk to him.
Nope, still clear.
I'll have to check now.
Dan Slot.
Give me 1 second, guys.
I am not blocked by either.
He just doesn't know you. He doesn't know you exist yet. That's all. There you
I
go.
I want to show you guys something. Give me 1 minute. I step away from the computer for a second. Give me right back.
All right. You haven't been on there long enough for him to recognize you. That's what it is.
That'll give him plenty of time to find an excuse for me to ban me or whatever.
Wear it as a badge of honor.
I was just tweeting out the recipe for the grilled cheese roulette. So yeah.
Grilled cheese roulette.
Yeah. You want your friends over for the game of your life, or the gamble of your life, bite-sized. It just requires one guy and 6 grilled cheese sandwiches.
Okay.
So,
oof, get wrecked.
Nah. I'll probably climb up the echelon soon enough. Then I'll reach Zenith, and then I'll fall down like Icarus.
Yeah. No big deal there. The mainstream ain't going to be mainstream for much longer. So they're actually not already, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh, I've heard about the plans for the 21. Oh, it's going to be tragedy. I'm lighting a pie right now as we speak.
There's somebody named Rebel Comics sitting in the green room.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm back.
What?
Oh, there he is. Sorry.
Kick him.
Word, gentlemen, word.
Yeah,
It's been a little while. I saw an open link and I was like, you know what? I only got like 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes. Because I got to go to work tonight, but I want to at least come on and say hello to you boys. It's been a little while. Varian, good to see you up in autumn, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm glad to be up and
I got the timer
around.
Randy really hates me that much. He's like, yeah, I'm working short as fucker. I only get 5 minutes.
What? Hey, here. I can do that at any time.
How's it going? Are you
If I hated you, I'd have booted you by now.
I know you're getting ready to go to work, but are you I know that you announced earlier, and I was like, how
what did I announce this time?
The circle keeps getting smaller. You got a cover coming up from a good friend of mine, Christina.
Yeah, I just said, hey, who's interested in doing an Niobe cover for the next round of books or whatever? And he just like popped in I didn't even think he would do it ever. Like he would never been a guy I would have approached because he's too high up on the scale for me. But he's like, I'll do it. I'm like, fuck, sweet. Yeah, let's do it. So he's going to be our heavy hitter this time around. You know what I mean? There's always kind of like one guy we sort of bring in that has like sort of like that big name, big draw appeal. And he's going to be that guy. And if you guys don't know who he is, he's done lots of work for Lady Death, White Widow, Zenoscope, the list goes on. And you know, he's very into it. You know, when you talk to him about doing a cover, he's like giving me like 10 different ideas. We can like, oh, I like this. You know, what I mean?
I used to joke that Chris has the he has the worst luck when it comes to attending cons. I think that's since broke since he got married, but he used to have this. We used to have this joke about what's going to happen to Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Chicago Comic-Con. It was an show, but we're unloading, and it's Chris, myself, Lola, and this other couple. I can't think of the names right now, but they're local to Chicago,
right?
And they were trying to tell us, they were going with us because they were telling us all the good places to eat around there. Well, Chris pulls into the convention center. He's loading up his table, and he's got his back turned, and he's facing me. And this hilo driver, full of I forget which company it was. It's a well-known small press company. They have these big, tall, like musical tour boxes. They put all their comics and stuff in. These big, tall, black boxes with wheels on them, and he's got them loaded up. And
concert crates, like they
they
wheel and all
throwing out the fucking amps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. And it rams into Chris's car. Pow! Right in the back. It pushes Chris's car about 2 feet. And I'm like, Chris. And he turns around and he looks and he stops for maybe 3 seconds and he just takes off. And the hilo driver could have cared less. He's just like, eh. And they get a union rep out there, and the union rep and the guy who owns and the people who were in charge of the facility were very apologetic to him.
I'm sure.
They took all the information out, gave him their information, but it's like, I mean, how this guy didn't see Chris's car and just plowed.
I guess maybe that's why he has bad luck at cons. You know,
that was but nothing that bad had happened to him. It's like you were almost home free, and then it happened to you. I want to show you guys something that I didn't get, but it was at that art store today. Randy, tell me what you think about this. Recolored in sweet loving Photoshop.
Hashtag get an education.
Yeah. Big, huge canvas. You can see it's huge, but gallery wrap canvas. Thor, Jack Kirby.
I don't know who thought they were the artist coloring that there. Probably somebody at the Marvel offices anymore.
So I hear a rumor on the street there, Varian, that you got yourself a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I did. I went and got one. And it's I found a game today in the bathroom. I cleaned it.
Yeah. So they're just lying around under the soap or what, brother? Like
no. She put it in the cabinet, and I was looking for Comet because I was gonna clean the shower out because we got one of those stand-up showers in there. And then I'm like, what's this? And I pulled it out, and I'm like, and so I took a picture of it, and I immediately started opening it. And
are you super pumped to play some Cyberpunk this weekend?
I will be. I'll be there, which is going to be weird because there's actually a question about that because there's some guy did a Cyberpunk comic. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on too.
Well, I mean, there's a few of them, but I mean, the official Cyberpunk comics from Dark Horse, they have a 4-issue miniseries. And then Molly Schofield is just releasing Minx. Like she just got her boxes of comics, and that's a Cyberpunk comic. And so those will be hitting the mail real soon. I'm actually taking Niobe in more of a cyberpunk genre as we move sort of forward. I think it's infecting everybody.
I always worry about putting my characters inside of video games because when they did that with City Heroes, there was that little clause in the contract, and I know Stench is probably a City Heroes fan, but they had a clause in it that they would own all the characters you create.
Yeah, well, there might be a legal battle then because way back in the day, I made a bunch of characters in City Heroes because it had the best customization for a character in any game that I can possibly imagine. And in fact, you can still play City Heroes. My buddy GOP Gamer sent me a link where you can go to a forum and sign up, and they run their own servers. And the game is still ongoing to some degree, with all the tchotchkes. But yeah, I imagine my time is almost up. Randy's looking at the counter pretty heavy there.
No, you're good, Larry. Don't worry.
I'm just fucking with you, brother. But no, we'll have to come on and do a chit chat soon. I am going to be doing an art contest. I just kind of want to start spreading the word on that for next year.
Okay.
So there's gonna be like a Niobe art contest, and I'll select like the best 3, and they'll go in the book, and I'll send them out like a nice, good Niobe care package and stuff. That's one of the things we got going on. Like you mentioned, Chris Enott. You know, we got Luigi 12 from Rags coming back for Niobe Origins #1. We got CB Zane, Steph Wilson, all the names. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's gonna be good times, man. Good times. And you listen, if I don't, you know, I'm sure I'll be talking to you. Yeah, there's my finger. But I'll just say this, guys. Like, I don't know, like, you know, if I'll talk to you on video before now or Christmas, but if I don't, you know, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff.
Same.
Hey,
here. Same.
we got somebody here that wishes you the same. Hang on just a second.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
I hope you're having a nice holiday season. I really do.
Oh, there you go. It really does.
Yeah, well, me and Ethan go way back, you know what I mean? Me and the Frogman, we're tight. You know, no, not really, but tight. But yeah, that's it, man. Good things in the future, and stay healthy, Variant. Jesus Christ.
Because you know, Frogman and young girl books are tight.
Tight. I'm gonna try to stay as healthy as possible.
Man,
But,
that was gruesome shit on your leg, brother. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I was I was at the doctor, and I got some more meds coming in. I'm looking forward to a better 2021. At least for me. I don't know how the year is gonna go, but
and Jake, I don't know if I ever met you, but you know, how you doing, brother?
That's it.
Yeah, it's both. I'm trying to like remove myself from the Stinch Whackbacker moniker now, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, then we'll call you Jake from now on. How you like that?
Yeah, I prefer that.
Hashtag get an education is catching on. I see it everywhere.
Good.
Good. All right, boys, I'm out. Peace.
Education doesn't hurt anybody.
No, that's right, man. Hashtag get an education, folks.
Get an
Watch
education.
and listen to Indie Volt. 56,000 people strong. Varying, what's our numbers?
I don't have them yet. They're loading in slow. I got like another 5 minutes to wait now.
I just want to steal a line from Andy. What's our numbers? What's our number? All right, peace out, dude.
All right, you have a good night.
Later.
Yeah, there's so I want to tell you guys too.
That link is in the chat. Anybody else want to jump in?
Yeah. Actually, I'll bring this up. Here we go. Let's see here. Not that one. All right, here we go.
Not that one. Here we go. What?
All right. Nice letter from Mr. L. Nolan. Very nice letter from him. I'm gonna put this up on the screen. There it is. Randy, you want to read that?
Al Nolan, over the time I've watched this show and visited the website, I got to tell you, I love the fact that you guys behave like actual journalists and not activists that hide behind the journo name. Keep it real, L. Nolan. Thanks, Al.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not a journalist, so I tell people that all the time. I just happen to own a company that does it.
Neither's anybody that works in the media anymore.
Yeah, we try to inform people, not so much, not to influence them. I don't want to influence anybody. I want to influence you to buy these books. I want to influence you to buy indie comics. Occasionally, I have to. We have to keep it real, and say something that someone might not like. Randy and I have gotten in trouble with people. People have gotten mad with us for keeping it real before.
Usually when they take what we say out of context.
Yeah. So it's that's what we try to do. That's what you try to do if you're gonna, get on the internet and talk about a particular genre, whether it be comic books, video games, sports, finance. You want to be able to know your stuff and to be fair, and there are times where we goof up. I mean, there's times where Randy and I have both we listen there. We defended Mitch for a while. We're defending Mitch for a while, but
well, there comes a time when you can't defend the indefensible.
Yeah.
So that's all we're saying.
Shit.
That includes you too, Jake.
Yeah, since you did it now.
I can live with that.
Oh, also, guys, I want to show you something else I've seen in the store today. I think you guys will really love it. So this is Target. I think we ought to all get some.
Mr. Baby.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
There's soy blend candles.
There we go. You're the best. Yes.
You earned it. That's what it says. You earned it. Let's eat cake. Thank you. Oh, baby, time to party.
Let's
to party.
eat cake. That is not fitting.
Yeah.
I mean, as per
It's-
Antoinette, though.
Yes. I was just going to say that.
Soy blend candle. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep.
Soy blend. Ugh.
Well, like half of the people that are in this whole journalism game are just bloggers or microbloggers. So they're just like hiding behind a moniker of, or like the name journalist. But
Oh,
are they really though?
We talking comic journalists? Well, that's a oxymoron. But anyway, usually they just run press releases only from the big exclusive companies from Diamond, and I ignore everybody else and poo anything that's making any actual mark in the industry.
You're meaning the centipede.
Yes, catching that reference, pretty much. Yes.
It says,
That Thor canvas you showed is absolutely horrible looking. Who makes these decisions and who approves this crap? Probably the same people up there that approve the interior work at these companies as well. What a real mess, huh? There's so much a beautiful Kirby out there. And who was it that Glenn Fleming keeps saying how rare it is that you actually see Kirby in black and white or find the original pencils of a Kirby work anywhere, and how crisp and clean and beautiful they look. And then you see crap like this.
If you want Kirby art, the best way to enjoy it is in flats. No discussion.
Yeah. That's the way it was designed to look.
I thought it was off when I looked at it. I'm like, I don't know if I like this color. And I remember who just friended me on Facebook. Oh my gosh, he's the head of the Kirby Museum.
Jeremy Kirby?
No.
With the angle that they have the floor and the angle that they have the shadows, there's a definite problem there.
He was
Looks like something out of Inception.
but it was like he put up a picture of Kirby's art colored by modern colorists, and it looked pretty good. And when I seen this from far off, I'm like, that's a Kirby, and I went running up to it, and as I get closer, I'm like, what have they done? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I like it. And it was on sale. It was originally I know it would have been $21 at 40% off, which is what it was currently at. 40% off.
I'd have to get closer to look at that. That might not even be Kirby. Might be somebody aping Kirby. Look at that face. I don't know if that face is Kirby at all.
Yeah, I can send it to you on my face. I'll send it to you after the show on Facebook, and you can zoom in on it and take a look. But it's I think it's Kirby.
I tried to zoom it here on my board, and it won't zoom up. So.
Yeah,
I mean, the foreshortening kind of reminds me of Kirby.
Oh no, the positioning and the dynamics, absolutely. But I don't know, that face doesn't quite look right, and I mean for Kirby.
Wait, are you saying that they actually sell merchandise that is fake? Wow. Wouldn't be the first time.
It wouldn't be something they had to sit there and redraw for very long, because they don't pay those people to do that. You know, they don't pay them much, even when they do have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about getting it, and I'm like, where would I hang it? What would I do? I'll look at it and get sad.
One of my complaints about those big $50 hardbound DC archive books. You open too many of those, and you really start looking at the art in there, and half of it looks badly traced. It's like, these guys weren't really that bad back then, were they? This looks like, looks like somebody just did a quick trace job over it and ran some flats on it and, sent it out the door.
And upscaled it. Probably.
Randy, I'm gonna let you get at this one. Here we go. Randy's probably gonna get in the soapbox.
Uh-oh.
So we're not gonna get
Okay.
Yeah, we're not gonna get you to say anything for about 20 minutes. Here we go.
Oh, I'll try to be quiet. I'll let everybody else go first. Grift King, but you guys don't mention EVS. He's got 3 campaigns in the high figures with no product from either in the hands of backers. There's your Grift King, frog simps. Janie and her gun. Okay.
Janie,
Frog Simps, fucking excuse me, I haven't backed it yet, but geez.
Frog simps.
Yeah,
Frog Simps. Oh, I'm just gonna throw out a sad Pepe though.
yeah. There you go. You know that'll get you banned on Twitter. You'll be gone in an hour.
Just a
What are
low
the-
tier troll.
What are the due dates on those campaigns? Do you know?
The Wreck Planet is May 21. They're all 2021.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
He's not late on any of those yet. Is he?
No.
I believe the unforgettable tales come out early.
Yeah, that's done.
All these other products are going to probably come out early. I don't know. I don't know how his schedule goes, but right now he can do. Ethan's at a point now, or EVS is at a point now where he can do whatever he wants. So that's nothing like what he's got planned as soon as the new year starts up.
I don't think. Listen. He doesn't have any open campaigns out there that are unfulfilled. That would get you a Grift King.
Everything's still got a deadline to it. He's planning stuff months in advance, just like Splatto Comics.
Yeah,
he's planning stuff months in advance.
To be a Grift King, you have to have had done something wrong. And as far as I know, everyone who's backed anything from Ethan has gotten their product.
It's not like what Detective Dead. It's not even like Stealing Solo. It's not like Red Rooster.
Yeah,
all of those. It's not like Long Harbor. God damn it! Get my book, Alejandro. Send me my book. Where's my book? I want my demon book.
You got to sing Tyler Carpenter. Where's my book?
Yeah, Long Harbor.
Yeah.
Gotta complain when it's late.
Yeah. Stinch, you want to say anything about this?
I'm trying to look up the campaigns right now, and from what I can tell, most of the things are already laid out from December on to as far into September of next year. So I don't know what he's going to complain about.
Some people are never going to be happy.
I think Janie's more upset,
especially when they see a campaign pulling down.
Shipping for the Vampirella one is supposed to be out by October.
What Vampirella one? I think he's
Vampire Cyberfrog. It should have been estimated October.
I thought those.
I think that one's with Dynamite though.
Yeah, I think those were all fulfilled a long time ago, weren't they?
Yeah. And last one that I'm looking at.
Once that BS went down with Dynamite, he cleaned his everything out, I think, and distanced himself from Dynamite and Nick. Said he couldn't do any more work for him at all. So
it's
I don't know. When I look at the stuff that he's selling and see the things that he's doing, he's not late. And if he's not late, he's not grifting anybody. He's made a lot of promises he's got to keep, but he's not grifting anybody.
There's like a series on YouTube that is called Cake Scammers. And that one has a legendary track record of keeping up with a lot of failed Kickstarters and Indiegogo scams. So if you want to see true grifters from all around the world, just go ahead and check out Cake Scammers.
Chris and the Sun.
What?
What? Nothing. Didn't say a word. I still want Long Harbor. Goddamn it! Somebody who does that worm book keeps Alejandro way too busy to finish his commitments. So, and I bought into that. I should look at that. I bet that's going on to at least a year and a half. He's late, if not 2 years. At this point.
I would figure that Van Skyver's probably lined up products 2 years at least.
Oh, no. Yeah, he knows what he's doing 2 years.
So that's like that was the same approach that I would have gone to if I were to my comics full time, just like pre-plan it with a 5-year plan and on the 5th one to cap it by doing a crowdfunder.
Mm-hmm. And you think that if this year was rough, wait until next year and see what these guys are going to end up doing.
Sideburns.
It's going to sit there and keep making money until they can. That's all.
Cyber said if you kept the name Stench, I would have joked there's a stink way back there.
There you had it. Your final shot. Before I changed it all the way.
Sideburns.
Jason says,
I agree, Randy. I was thinking the same thing. It truly doesn't look like actual Kirby. I'd say it's traced by some careless production peon who doesn't care. Well, it's just about every production peon. I also agree that flat colors are best always on Kirby. Though I've seen some great painted work of Kirby that drops the black line work and actually adds tone and dimension to the figure. That's pretty hot at times, but you really have to know what you're doing. You have to be somebody like Steve Rude or Alex Ross or somewhere at that level to really know what you're doing.
I would have given David Stewart the opportunity. Maybe he would pull it out.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a screenshot that I have. I know I sent it to Randy. I'm gonna have to pull it back. I'm gonna pull it up into. Let's see here. Sorry, I got a lot of stuff on my computer in front of my screen.
Which screenshot is that?
It was a screenshot of. It was that we asked on the radio to talk about it.
It's Jake from Indie VOLT with a sweet deal on comics.
Yeah, we're asked to talk about the situation with the
Jake from Whackbacker.
Oh, the situation with the books that not hitting Walmart from Allegiance Arts. Excuse me, not hitting till what? Now we're looking at February or something like that.
I thought it was April, March or April.
Yikes!
So they're waiting until the Christmas rush gets over and everybody calms down a little bit.
If you don't know what happened is Allegiance Arts. This is a new comic company, new comic publisher, ran by husband and wife team, Mitch and Elizabeth. I almost said Whackbacker. Brightwise.
Mitch and Elizabeth Whackbacker.
Yeah. They launched a comic company, pretty successful. Got out there. They showed a couple of really good books. Then, because they're working so hard, they actually lined up a deal with Walmart. They got the books inside of Walmart. I was happy to see them. I went out to the Walmart, my local Walmart, got them. I had to track down the second issues because my Walmart will not put the second issues out until all the first ones are gone. They're very weird. I don't know why. I've talked to the guy in electronics about this over and over and over again. He's like, no, I gotta wait till the first one sell out. I'm like, that's not how comics. So anyway, I had to go to another Walmart and get the books.
That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
And then people started complaining because one of the books that's available is Red Rooster, and people backed that book on Indiegogo, I believe, and it's not out yet. And people are pissed, and they're getting more and more upset. And they were upset that we technically at the people were picking books up because I didn't back it on Indiegogo. I did not back it. We're going to get the books before and the completed story before the people who paid for the book did. I can understand their anger. I can understand their frustration. I truly do. So now they're pushing the books back, the ones that were going to be at Walmart. They're pushing them back, and I thought it was February or something like that. But Randy said he thinks it was going to be way after the Christmas rush because they do have their clearance. They don't want to get caught up in the clearance rush. What do you think about that, Randy? Is they put out I would say a heartfelt, "Hey, we're sorry," apology type of letter. But what do you think about that?
Well, they just said if you're looking for them, this is when they're going to be out. What else can they do? This is a new widget by these guys that they're having to get the Walmart people trained to and how to merchandise, and that's going to take a while. So I understand them wanting to wait until after Christmas to maybe go in and send some instructions to these people on how it's supposed to be displayed, stuff like that. But that's not the Allegiance art end of it. Isn't the problem with that company? It's the fact that they have a long outstanding Indiegogo campaign that absolutely positively has to be fulfilled and needed to have been fulfilled months ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real problem. Everything else is in educating the Walmart people and the company, you know. So they have to, if they have to false start and restart with ones and twos, and that's what they have to do, you know. But that's not the animal that's slowing them up here. Getting that book done and getting it out and running that campaign in the first place as prematurely as it was, or as it seems to have been.
Yeah. And there was one of the updates. I'll read it because it's real small. The much anticipated episode 3 books from the Legion's Arts must be rescheduled to February 19th.
Oh, February. Okay.
While the books are ready to ship, this regrettable delay is necessary to avoid our fresh editions from being swept away in our retailer's year-end clearinghouse. We understand fans will be disappointed. We are too. But this move ensures that we make the most of our relaunch. Also, new this February, each title includes a special preview of the Legion's Arts' new adventure, The Rail of the Saints. More on that soon. Walmart.com orders will now arrive polybagged with reinforced backings to ensure they arrive in collectible condition, which is great news. I don't know if I like the term relaunch.
Well, how else are you going to call it? Because they're relaunching the books again. If they start coming out on a more regular basis after that, like I said, I understand them having to wait because they have to educate the managers at all of these locations, because obviously they're merchant, like you ran into with that problem. They don't know how to merchandise these books right, because they're not in charge. They don't do magazines. This is a different widget for them. The magazines are usually handled by a magazine distributor who comes in and services it themselves and takes out the old books themselves and just walks out. The Walmart people don't have to worry about that.
No,
but
no.
Now here's an actual book or a comic that they have to do and put out on display. It might take a little while. Plus, they don't want to get caught in the closeout rush. Now, with Allegiance, these number 3s are probably sitting there somewhere, waiting to go. Already printed from the impression that I got from that notice. That's money that they're just sitting on. And believe me, if there was a way to get them out to people with their confidence, they would have done it just to get some sort of a return, because Walmart doesn't pay for them books until after them books have sit on the shelves for 60 or 30 days or whatever, 120 days or whatever that they've agreed on. So Allegiance is literally taking it in the shorts right now, waiting until after the Christmas rush in order to get the number 3s out there.
Now, 4 days ago, on December 4th, Mitch did put up an update. Let people know they reached a milestone. The artwork for Red Rooster was completed, and the campaign was officially closed.
It's a milestone that should have been done a year ago.
Yeah, he thanked everybody for their enthusiasm, their graciousness, and he's going to be very grateful to everyone. They're making final edits of some of the print file for the book and the company fulfillment items. There's a bunch of others that they have to put together for this book, though. But it says we'll be setting the schedule for printers shortly and begin fulfilling orders as soon as the ink is dry. Please make sure to check the address associated with your Indiegogo account to make sure it is correct. When we will make changes, we'll have to relock the orders. Thank you all, Mitch Brightweiser. And
because a percentage of people have moved since they paid into that campaign.
Yeah. Although there people are from 5 days ago, people were upset.
Yeah,
people were upset. But look, get the book done at this point. Can he recover from this? And do you guys think it's possible for them to recover from this as far as going back to crowdfunding? Because I've heard people say before, if you mess up in crowdfunding on a massive scale like this, you can't come back, or you've got to go away for a couple years and then come back with a product that's finished.
Well, we've already seen people run campaigns where they've chased off a large portion of their audience and then come back thinking that they're going to make the money that they made before and run into that brick wall because they, customers, this is an example of how customer service is so damn important, especially if you want to make money and make a living in this business. You're going to have to please the largest amount of customer base you possibly can in order to keep the revenue flowing. Everybody's money is green. It doesn't matter. And that should be the main focus, though. In a lot of business nowadays, it doesn't seem to be. That's really what the main focus ought to be. It's how much money you're going to make, and in order to make that, how many customers are you going to please in order to get that money?
Right, right.
The more successful campaigns that you're seeing out there are the ones that try to stay as neutral as possible and appeal to the largest audience possible. Go ahead, Jake.
I'm thinking about the public relations with this company and how much trust that the customers are willing to put into the company, as they do have an absurdly charge rate on the digital versions of their comics, like $5. This is not looking good if they cannot fulfill that promise. But at the same time, I would address the problem by not using that kind of polarizing word. Relaunch, at least. There has
That
to be
applies
some.
to the Allegiance Arts books, though. Those are the books you pick up at Walmart.
Yeah.
Not from your campaign. If they were going to relaunch that campaign.
Well, I think for me, it's like relaunch kind of sounds like, were you down? Were you not? You know, like when we hear the word relaunch, now we associate that with reboot almost. And I know they're not rebooting the books. I'm just saying it's like, wait a minute, guys, you didn't fail. I thought this was the planned postponement. I don't know. It's just like Cinch said, it's kind of a polarizing word. It's kind of it just bothers me a bit. They would call it a relaunch rather than a.
Well, it's obvious they're not stopping because they've got a preview for their next book in there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's obvious that Walmart is still interested in carrying them on something of a regular basis. So there was a glitch, and they're having. You can't. None of this stuff's going to go off without a hitch.
But it might be a logistics hiccup.
This is a new widget for Walmart.
Yeah, but it might be a logistics hiccup in the sense that they are under contract. There might be one there to take into consideration, in that they're going to keep their. They're going to keep carrying to a certain limit, and probably then they will, I don't know, hop out whenever that time is filled.
Yeah, and we're not privy to that contract either, and that could also be part of the reason why there was such a long wait. There is that they've been negotiating a specific contract with Walmart that may include another book or may give them a guarantee of so many years worth of exposure of their product. Huh?
Or cuts.
Yeah.
Those are
who knows what's in that.
It's a little bit fickle. And I would say if they're going to bet on exclusively Walmart and not go for either like Target or any other supermarket or chain store, that might cause a little bit of an exclusive like lock onto their product. And that is bad for business if they're not open to sell to other companies as well.
I would love to, like, I just had a situation. I'll get into that later. But I had a situation similar to what they're going through with my company, thanks to a printer. And the book was late and there's nothing I could do about it. But, luckily I knew I don't take orders for books until I get them in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
That just saves me a big headache. Because I hate to have someone's money for a book that I don't have in my hand, that I can't ship out. And maybe that cost me a couple of dollars, but in the end, I think at least I know the customer is going to get that book sent directly to them. Walmart's probably a real bad place to put those books, though. Especially since Walmart people so they're saying, "Where's my book? Where's my book?
Where's my book?
Where's my comics?"
It doesn't look like Jack Kirby, and it's logistic problem. Everyone suffers from cock blocking. Yeah, it does. Everyone's you can't get. We're not shipping this. I got some items that are still shipping outside of Amazon for Christmas, and I'm getting a little concerned of whether or not they're going to get here in time or not. But
amen. Same here.
One was supposed to be delivered 3 days ago. It's since vanished, and another one was supposed to be here today, and I haven't heard from FedEx. It's been in the business day, and for FedEx that was an hour ago. So I held out hope until about 9 o'clock. That
Did you check your front porch?
Oh yeah. That's nothing's there.
Did you check the tracking on FedEx? Did they say it was delivered or is it
FedEx,
still out?
and that's something I want to talk to everybody about because we got an email about it too about shipping. People, one guy says he sent out books and they just all kind of vanished into the ethos. Here's the thing, FedEx. I was told today I ordered something through a third party, and twice today I've heard about this that the FedEx and UPS aren't even trying to update the tracking numbers. Neither is USPS. The mail volume is so high, and you got that, and you got the current pandemic going on. They're not even trying to update tracking numbers. So your tracking numbers at this point are pretty much useless.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it.
They're not running anything through the system then?
Yeah, I couldn't believe when I heard it. I'm like, so I have no idea when my packages are coming. Well, we'll update as much as we can. I have informed delivery, and it's buggy right now. It's buggy as all hell. I logged in to see what I was getting in the mail today, and I got lines of code. It said I had 33 mail pieces coming, but 0 today. It was a very weird situation. But if you're sending out books, if you get any orders for books, especially out since Black Friday, because I know we had a couple of things I had to send out to people, just be very careful and understand those books may take extra time getting to where they're going, and you may have to send out some replacements because some people aren't going to get their books. Also, I want to ask you guys about this. It is something that came to my attention yesterday. I was on a comic book forum, and a guy had posted up some artwork from one of my favorite artists, Michael Turner, and it was some original artwork. And he started it was a sketchbook, actually, a little sketchbook of it wasn't original art, but a sketchbook that Michael Turner did. He's really they were like Kinko copies type sketchbooks. And what he did was he signed them all. I got them from a couple of different years, 2000, like 2005, 2008. But the thing is, and they're all autographed, but I missed a couple of years there that I didn't get them. So I'm looking through, and I when I seen this guy posted them, I was like, oh, that's cool. And I went back to the link a little bit later, and people were going off on the guy. Because what they discovered was this guy was doing what they called it's a different type of bidding. It's
Scalping?
No, it's I forget what kind of bidding they call it. Basically, what he does is he creates a separate account and he goes into the account and he bids it up. So you know how you might go into something like eBay and
he has the markup.
Right. You say, hey, the most I'm willing to pay for this is $20. Well, they don't tell that person, but that person can come in there and bid it up to see how high you're willing to go. And eBay, though, unlike Indiegogo, and this is why I want to go with this, eBay's had enough of that BS. They said, if you can prove it, we will block that person's proxy account as well as their seller account. We will can them off our service. Just show us what they did and show us the proof. And so yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that they're doing that they're willing to help out the customers, because there's nothing wrong. I mean, there's nothing stopping me from having Randy go into my eBay account and, hey, a guy bid it on my project, on my product, Randy, go in there and see if you can get it above 60 for me. And Randy goes in there and does it. And what people normally notice is that they'll be outbid. This has happened to me. I know that I got outbidded on something, but then the bid drops. I'll get an email telling me I won because the bid got retracted. I bid it on something that was because it must have been like a video game or something. It was like $40, and someone came behind me and bid it 50. I'm not paying 50 for it. Screw it. I let it go. Well, I got an email like an hour later. Hey, you won. Because this bid was retracted. And what you can find is you look at those accounts the person was bidding. You look at those accounts, and it'll show you how much. It shows you the percentage that they've actually engaged that account. And for this particular guy, his engagement was 80% with this one account. So you could tell it was him. And so I was wondering, I was like, Indiegogo ought to do that with their backers. They got to show you where the money's coming from, because a lot of people will get caught. I mean, Kickstarter technically doesn't do it, but they left the back door open with KickTrack to where you can see, and determine if someone just, put money in their own campaign. And I think they need to do that because that's a false insecurity. I don't have a problem anybody putting a little money in their campaign. Don't get me wrong. To get it started, they maybe push it over a certain goal. That's fine. But when you see it continuously and people claiming, hey, I just cleared, 40K. And they just actually clear out their 401k to do that. That's a little disingenuous, a little dishonest. What do you guys think? And does Kickstarter and Indiegogo have do they have responsibility to do that and provide the information to people?
Yes and no. I'm a little bit on the fence on this one. Given that I think that the party that is holding the campaign should be disclosing the data, or they disclose if they can, if they have been putting their own money into the project and a certain percentage of that money on the campaign site in case if they want to like bump it up over the crowdfunded limit. So say that you have the campaign almost like 98% backed of a $2,000 campaign, and they were to push it to meet the goal. That wouldn't have been wrong in a sense, but it's just like an estimate about you estimate the number of how much can this person, you, the campaigner, bid on their own product to succeed and to carry that money. Are they going to go so far to unlock stretch goals, or are they going to do extra bidding as soon as like the stretch goal or like the goal of the campaign has been hit, and they're going to put some more money into it so they can at least get one stretch goal? There's a lot of ethics surrounding this, but money doesn't talk ethics most of the time.
Yeah.
Well, my big problem with that is somebody stabbing their account in order to get fulfilled, and then before their campaign is over, and give backers a false sense of security that product's actually coming out, and getting them to buy in. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's already fulfilled. It's coming out for sure. Boom. Because we had an instance of that happening where somebody had invested, what was it, $1,500 in order to pump themselves over their minimum. And once that happened, they had a bunch of people that came in and said, well, you met your goal, so I'm gonna buy that book because I want to read it. And then he came in and pulled the $1,500 out. And so they went from, $1,800 or whatever down to $300.
Yeah, but then we talk about commitment
on their campaign. And then these people that bought into the campaign freaked and wanted their money back. And he said, no, that's the chances you take. I'm keeping all your money. And then never released the book.
Damn.
Yeah. And it's funny.
That's a hardcore grift. That's one of the reasons why we, started that campaign here.
Yeah, when that happened, and the funny thing was, I had already, that person had already been banned from IndieVolt because of things they had said and did, and they blamed us. But they also said that because of us, they had become the Barbara Streisand of comics. And I
don't think he meant that as a compliment.
No. He thought it was cool at the time. But look, you can't go ahead.
Anyway, go ahead. He's not quite thinking straight anyway. But
yeah,
whenever something like that happens, Indiegogo should go, or whoever the platform is, should go through and fine that person hard to keep it from happening again. And two, they ought to have a ban against starting another campaign. Anybody that doesn't fulfill,
but not an IP,
should just be banned.
Not an IP ban, but a credit card ban, at least.
A person ban, yeah.
Well, I was told that
from having another campaign. If there's anything hinky with the previous campaign, they should either that or they should be put into that platform's jail system and told that they can't do another campaign for a year, just as a penalty for pulling some shit.
I was told that actually is the case of a couple of backers. They had a backer who was going through Indiegogo, pledging big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I think Travis Gibb was telling me about it. This guy was pledging big numbers, like 700, 800 to get you over the campaign.
And those people desperately need to be slammed as well, because they're just in there fooling around with the system, and that's not good for anybody.
Especially something like Indiegogo, because they can go in there and
Well, especially with like Kickstarter, because you can promise Kickstarter all you want. If they don't make their goal, they don't take the money out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you have a flexible goal like with Indiegogo, where you can, you can get that money as it comes out. Indiegogo hits your card immediately once you pledge. Kickstarter sits on it for who knows how long, and all that could really mess up somebody's finances if they're not careful.
Yeah.
There should also be
all of a sudden there's $100 or so just out of their account.
Yeah. There should also be a sort of a strike system that is visible on the profile.
That's
so they'll be marking them for the fraudulence. And,
just like you see with eBay on how trustworthy that seller is.
Yeah. Yes. You want a trustworthy backer or a scam backer. You don't want the toxicity of having Indigo to change the name to Indiegogo. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, because I remember there was a guy who launched a campaign, and he was like, "Come on, guys, come on, back me, and come on, guys." And I remember looking at that campaign and looking at that person's profile and saying, "Hey, he's new. He's never backed anything."
Yeah.
And I guess someone told him, "Hey, man, that's a bad look because it shows that you're out here asking for money, but you never backed anything." And he got really upset. But what he did was he went around to a lot of campaigns and he just backed for $1. I believe in this. I believe in this, just to get his numbers up. To show that he had backed, 28 campaigns. Now, hey, I backed 28 campaigns. No, you haven't. You just gave 28 people, $1.
And again, they're not investing because of the product or the quality of the product. They're looking at this guy going, "Oh yeah, you're faithful to this platform. I'll buy into your book." And that should not be the way that works at all.
Right. I do like the fact that I know it's kind of, I think you can block it if you don't care, but if you don't want to. But I do like the fact that Indiegogo will show you what the person's backed. So you kind of see them as, this person actually does back books. They backed my books before, whatever. You get to see that type of stuff because it helps. Would you guys be okay and tell me, and be honest, if you have a campaign running and you get an email from the company that says, "Hey, this particular backer wants to enter your campaign. Because they are completely new, maybe they take their money right away because your first backing has to be paid before you can do any of that credited back. That should be something that's earned. But would you be okay with getting something that says, would you like to accept this backing from this person? They are high risk. There's a good chance they're going to pull their campaign funds. Would you be okay having a button where you can click accept or decline that person as a backer?
Oh, like a pending thing?
Yeah. Would you be okay having responsibility as a campaign runner?
If the information is fed that let's go back to like the whole strike system thing. If the indicator for that profile of the backer gives out that the backer has been doing some cheat activities, it should be informed through that email about the information on the backer.
Right.
It sounds bad. I know it might be a little bit intrusive, but if backer history is already public on the platform, they should definitely feed that information to the campaign runner so that they will know at least who's back in the book.
Right.
However, the issue with having the pending thing would have to be like getting another person to do the whole oversight of this. And if you don't have the time or the logistics to do that by yourself, it might become a little bit overwhelming. So there are complications that needs additional functions added on top of that. I'm very ignorant when it comes to crowdfunder pages because I've never been on them, honestly. I've sent around links and stuff, but I've never really gotten into it. So I'm just speaking from what I hear from you guys.
Sarah in the house. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Thanks for listening in.
From Indie VOLT Radio, and this is from well, it looks like his name is Japal, Japal, Japal. But Japal says, I have a book, indie book that I did. I crowdfunded it, very small print run, not a big seller. Sorry, spelled seller wrong. Not a big seller. But a harsh critic of mine has ordered the book. I'm tempted to put a letter inside of an envelope telling him to go fuck himself with his money. Should I do that, or should I provide him the book, even though I know he's going to take me to task and be very critical in online hit pieces? Japal.
Japal, I would recommend being the better person here and just sending him the damn book and just taking your lumps. And because people like that, especially if they're bitter, are gonna you're going to make a better distance with him actually having the book than you are with him having to go out and try to find the book and do it to you anyway.
Yeah, he's gonna get the book either way. He's gonna find it, so he'll order from someone in a different name this time from your web store. If you put it online,
plus
he'll order it, he'll get it.
Plus, refunding his money and telling him to go F himself gives him another reason to jump up on that negative review, which you already know that you're going to get, and go, well, this guy wasn't professional enough to even send me my book, even though I paid him for it. There's absolutely no reason why he shouldn't have sent me my book. Blah 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 blah. Send him the book, and let him blow hard. And then you know how you get back at people like that. If they pick on a particular good point of yours, then you can take that review and quote him in your future reviews.
Yeah.
So says I stink.
Yeah.
I mean, if they
That's
give the
how you
negative,
get back at him.
if you give him the negative father just through the product,
Say what?
I'm sorry. No, gone.
Well, all the critique that he gives your book, say, so and so says this is wrong and this is wrong, and just go through and quote him on the back.
Yeah, like a good old pull quote. But
wear it like a badge. At least you're being seen and critiqued.
But what I was going to comment on was that the negativity, don't feed it. Not by adding more problems to it delivery wise.
Yeah,
just make it focused on the book. Don't make yourself being out the bad guy. Just shitting up the logistics and the delivery and the product, because then will be
the better person, be the professional.
Yeah, because if you don't send him his book, he's gonna. If you send him a letter saying go F himself, he's gonna be like, "Oh, you sent me hate mail, literal hate mail."
Go F myself. What is that? A violent act?
Yeah, I just sent him the book.
Take crap out of context like that before. Mr. Brent, are you making violent accusations against people?
Yeah, just send him the book and be done with it. You're gonna get the bad review. You know that, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
you're getting a bad review. Don't even worry about it. It's just
You know what you do. What you should do is exactly the opposite of what you're thinking. You should send him the book and tell him thank you, and then say I value your opinion.
and to like further top that off, you could make yourself a wall on your home, and then you write hall of negativity, and then you know that you've made a splash at least. Print out every single comment that you get.
Too. Send him a quick sketch too.
Yeah. Draw a sketch in there.
Just to rub it in. Yeah.
I do think that I think that Jake has a good point with just sending it to him, and just really kind of the review you get, you got to wonder too if this guy hates it. If the criticism is valid, take it and improve, because I think we can all improve.
Yeah, it's all about the separation of the art and the artist. You want to stick to that principle, you got to let the art speak for itself and don't be defensive about it. And if you drag yourself down by doing the trouble with the delivery and everything, then it will definitely drag you into the whole debate. Not as an artist, but as a person. So yeah,
Ricky Nelson said it best. You can't please everyone, so you have to please yourself.
Every night.
And remember, it's okay to play with yourself.
Joining us live from New York City,
Mr. JD Calderon.
The world. But he's here with us.
What's up, gentlemen?
Hey, JD.
Hello, Excellence.
Yeah, did you hear that?
What'd you do? Just step off a train? No, just kidding.
I had dinner first, and then.
Did you hear what we're talking about?
I heard something about getting better.
Playing with ourselves, yeah.
Well, listen, that part of it's a given. So I didn't have to even think about that really.
No, you just came in there just as we said it because you were just pulling down your pants.
Well, no, I was pulling them up actually. But,
Oh, okay.
There's a guy who wrote us, and he says that he's got a reviewer that's really harsh on him.
Okay.
And the guy ordered his book through his crowdfunding platform. Mm-hmm. He wants to send the guy back his money and let us go fuck yourself, rather than the book, because he's gonna get a weak ass review. He doesn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking, and I think everyone else here agrees, to send him the book, take your lumps. You send him that letter and his money back, he's gonna get mileage out of that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Listen to what he has to say, because even no matter how crappy a review is, you may feel it is, because you're always going to feel like crap, no matter what it is. They could say 50 good things about you, and you're going to focus on that one thing. They'll be like, yeah, the lettering was ass. But, but he could tell you your story was good, your writing was good, transitions were good, the artwork was good, the ink was, you get all that stuff, and all you're going to focus on is the lettering.
Yeah.
Right? That's all you're going to think about. So, I mean, the thing is like, listen to what he has to say and think about it. Because you have to, and then try to be try to step back from your work and try to say, damn, is he right? What is he complaining about? Is he complaining about my transitions? Is he complaining about my dialogue? Is he complaining, and then maybe if you can't figure it out entirely yourself, go to someone who maybe has a little bit more experience than you in comics, review his review, and then go let that person look over the work and let them advise you, and maybe they can help you suss that out, and then you'll be stronger for it later.
Yeah.
You understand? Anthony Figueroa always tells me, steel sharpens steel. He tells me, he's like, JD, he sends me his whole book. He's like, go at it, bro. Go at it. You understand? Yeah. And that's what he tells me. And I told him I read the first 5 pages, and I think the last 5 pages, and I wrote him what I thought about that and what he could improve there. I haven't gone through the whole book because I backed the book. Anthony, I want my book so I can read it.
Yeah.
Now what my book?
Yes, it's going to be an awesome book, though.
Yeah,
it looks incredible.
Anthony sent me the book, and he's like, "Could you look through it, the PDF?"
Right.
Like, but I don't want to experience it this way. But he asked me to do him a favor, and I did. I went through the entire book, and I'm like, "Well, I'm never opening it." I don't know. But I'm reading it, and I'm like, "Well, this has to be changed. You got to fix this. You got to fix that." And he really was. He was open to all criticism. Yep. He didn't get mad. He didn't get defensive like so many other people. He didn't jump on, Varian said this about my characters. There's a character in there that I thought was underutilized, and I told him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you underutilized that character. What's up? And he's like, you're right. You're absolutely right. I didn't think about that. And I'm not sure if he's making the change, because there's one point in the book where he could have done that. I'm not sure if he's keeping it that way for now.
Mm-hmm.
But even if he isn't, in the next issue or the next installment of that story, he's going to take that criticism. He's going to have it, and he's going to know, I need to do this for this character, and that works. And that's, hopefully that helps him.
Yeah, I had a review one time, right? And they reviewed one of my stories, and they were like, they gave me some stuff that I just thought was garbage, but they did tell me one thing. They said he had an info dump in the beginning of the book, and I was like, what? And I went back, I reread it, and I was like, crap, I have an info dump in the beginning of the book. I literally ripped 3.5 pages out of that book, rewrote whatever I had to rewrite, married it all together. If I show you the story now, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. And I got rid of the info dump. And the story is much better because of it. Because I was literally referring to stuff at the beginning of the book to stuff that was going to happen at the end of the book. So you end up with less of a surprise. You know what I mean? So I took all that stuff out. And now you're like, so when you go through the book, it's all new, it's all fresh. You were never clued into that stuff, So, that's just what it is. You got to look at these reviews, you got to listen to them. Not necessarily take them to heart, but you got to take that step back and say, okay, maybe there's some merit to this, maybe there isn't. You just got to try to understand what's there. And it's not easy. And, after you're done crying and smashing your face in your keyboard, you can suss it out.
I have a friend of mine who every time we do a con together, I look at him and say, stop doing that, please. He has like the first 20 issues of his comic planned out in his head. But then we got one issue done. And he's always telling people, well, what you're going to find on issue 2 is this. And he has a whole story planned out. And I've heard him go all the way to issue 20 with someone. And I'm like, I'm just sitting there looking at him like, issue 20 and you only got issue 1 on the stand. By the way, now that person doesn't have to buy anymore. You told him the whole story. Because it took you an hour. This poor man wants to walk away.
Right.
You're just going on and on and on. And yeah, we're bad about that as creatives. I see that Sarah says, hey JD, I read some of your books. Very well done. Looking forward to more. Checks in the mail.
Sarah.
Checks in the mail.
Really appreciate that.
I'm going to be reading Oswald very soon. I wanted to get around to it last week, and I didn't. But I got them all. They're in my bedroom. They're on my nightstand, and I'm going to go through them and read them. And I think that I'll judge JD very critically. I'll tell him, I don't like it, JD. And I was because I seen a review. That shook me to my core, and it made me. I want to see if I can bring this up. I have a. It's not even a. It's not even a. I know it's not in the DSM. Being the trypophobia.
Oh, the Xbox one?
Yeah. The fear holes, which I will admit, guys, look, I've got that. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way it looks. There it is. The fear of holes. That bothers me. Okay, it does. Like that's like ill. Get away from me. But
how about that frog with the thing with the little babies that pop out of
and the babies popping out of you?
Yeah. I mean, that type of thing, like if it was on the skin like that, that's like, ew, that's gross. That bothers me. I don't like it. However, guys, what doesn't bother me is, and I'm going to put this up here because I will say that this isn't a valid critique. And I've seen this critique. I didn't think it was a review until I seen it. There was a young lady who says the Xbox Series X bothers her because of the holes on the side because she has trypophobia. And it has those holes on the side and it bothers her. Have we reached an age now? I know we had an email earlier from El Nolan which says this activist hiding behind the term journalism or journalist. But what kind of review is that? So I'm now concerned. What happens if I put, like, my book deals a lot with the Bible. I already know I'm going to get yelled at. But I do have a scene where a creature has a bunch of holes in it. What happens if someone tells me your book triggered me? Trigger my mental disability. And by the way, that's not the DSM. I know. I looked.
I don't know. The DSM-5 has been refined.
Yeah.
So they're including a couple of mental illnesses that shouldn't be there. So yeah. It's if the review doesn't have a complimentary sandwich structure, it's a California wet omelet for sure. But it's letting yourself being too much taking too much part in the review that really stunts it. And if you don't have if you don't cover it in a traditional way, that you focus on the aspects like storytelling, you focus on the arts, you focus on what people are attracted by or attracted to, these things become superficial. It's like bad salt. You don't want bad salt spread across the meal.
I seen I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch Saved by the Bell, the new reboot they've done. But they have a character in there who's transgender. Well, they mention it just in passing. Hey, see my new reality show? It's about me and being transgender. And they go, and I'm thinking, oh, here we go. Whole episode's going to be about that. Nothing. And I'm like, I'm not used to that anymore, guys. I'm used to if someone's Black or Muslim or LGBTQ, that becomes the focus of the story. The fact that didn't surprise me, and I'm like, how sick is this? That they've gotten me to the point now where I assume that that's what we're gonna hear. The whole story's gonna shift now toward this character and their perceived plight. And so now with comics, I bring that up because another email that we got said that we live in a world right now. I'll read it right now. This is from Carl, and Carl says we live in a world now where people actually will talk about the plight of the character's sexual orientation more so than the story, the bad guys, the villain. Where do you guys think comics will be in the future with this current narrative? And that was again from Carl. Carl, that's from IndieVolt Radio, by the way, and IndieVolt Radio numbers. Listen, I want to give you guys too. We are at 54,881. Thank you to our good friends over in Big. We got people in Egypt listening right now. Egypt, which I
appreciate each and every one of you.
Yeah. I actually had a young lady from Egypt Uber driver me the Uber driver the other day, and she downloaded IndieVolt Radio on her phone, which I was really happy about. I'm like, yes, another download it. Really happy about that. So she's listening too, by the way. Hello, it's me. I'm on the air. I shouted you out. What do you guys think about that? The narrative of these stories take place. Randy, you've had characters in your books that have been gay, bi.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, hey, this is me, and it's no big deal. We have an artist that comes on the show quite frequently who is trans, and it's no big deal. We don't, hey, you're trans, okay, whatever. We're gonna call you whatever you want to be called, and that's it. And that person does not ask to be treated any differently or specially because of
somebody who's that obsessed about what they are like that are usually having to go to therapy because they're that obsessive. That's not a real that's a problem, a serious problem, but that's not everybody. Everybody's character is not like that. Everybody deals in the same world, same reality, same problems, for the most part. So those are,
I was actually talking with my friends about this problem a couple of days ago, and I just dropped the blackest pill that I could ever do to them because it's from an outsider perspective. But I really think that the U.S. has been suffering from the censorship aftermath from the 50s, and that it limited the market a lot to develop from the time when easy comics were slammed up to the point where we got like this whole superhero issue dilemma that we have now from the 2010s and onwards. The thing is, if you look at it from the market of Japan, I want to use that as a juxtaposition. Japan has been very liberal about their way of publicizing and creating art. They expand markets that attract to people with different interests, and they don't overreach it by using or reusing the same properties most of the time, at least. And that doesn't seem to carry over to to the U.S. market because of the stifling and the low growth of indie comics, or at least the second market that is not superhero related. Because you guys know that whenever it's brought up with comics, it's usually synonymous with superhero comics. Well, as for me, comics are comics. It's indifferent to me. And what I see is that there is a market that has been stranglehold at least up to the 80s, that have suffered immensely from not having people creating niche markets within publishing houses that are willing to take that risk into publishing whatever type of variety comic that you can think of.
You mean since the 80s?
Huh?
Since the 80s, since the direct market sprung up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Pretty much male power fantasies and superheroes.
yeah. And that has been like where are the American cleaning lady mangas or comics for that matter? Where are the it's all in the confines of the funnies.
Yeah.
That you usually see in Family Matters and all that stuff. You could have long running series built on that, but it's just it's just attraction really. To what the audiences want and desire, and meeting that supply and demand has not been up to snuff with the US for the better of 60 to 70 years. Well, as for Japan, they've had an expanding growth and have seen their market not monopolized or oligarchized.
Randy, I put some in the private chat for you if you can.
So there's a sadness to it that these are like the times and the problems that are facing now.
I'm not following that, Marion, in the chat.
Somebody emailed Indie Vault,
Uh-huh.
and their email was Randy Zimmerman. Their name was Randy Zimmerman 1M. It's about comics, and I'm like,
oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not Randy, but I'm like, you would have told me if you emailed. So,
I've never run across a Zimmerman with 1M. That's
yeah.
So
it's actually 1M 2 N's. I'm sorry.
Is it coming? Yeah, I would. Well, 2 N's I've seen, but I'd still see it with 2 M's.
Well, I think it was a troll comment, but it actually is a pretty cool comment. I mean, I think it's kind of trollish, but we'll get into it. Go ahead. Jake, go ahead. Continue your thought.
Oh, sorry. No, that is at least my take on it. I could have expanded upon it, but I will have to make a whole script and a lecture on this shit.
break out the was it
the thesaurus?
Yeah, the thesaurus and my wife used to do them. What are they called? On the computer. Not screen grabs.
Slides?
Presentations, yeah, and the slides and everything.
Hold on, I'll get the light box.
PowerPoint. Yeah, PowerPoints. Yeah. What did you say, JD? You want to say something?
Well, I mean, just touching on the points that Stitch was making is just that, I think the biggest problem is that most of the writers that have up there at these big two companies, primarily Marvel and DC, is just, and especially the folks that are trying to do these types of stories, they're just not very good. They're just not good at their craft. They're just not good at what needs to be done. Because the thing is, all of this stuff can be brought in and done in a way where the story feels natural and the characters are accepted and everybody. And I think there's a way to make all these characters, accepted and make the fans happy at the same time.
Yeah.
But you literally have to know how to layer a story.
Yep.
You don't know how to layer a story, you're screwed.
I was going to say it takes quality talent to do that, and
right.
You have to do. Everybody wants to be entertained. That's the key. They don't want to be preached at. They want to be entertained, and a good writer, a good artist will know how to do that.
Right, and the thing
and still be able to get their point across.
Exactly, but it also starts above the writer. It's the editor. If your editor doesn't know how to write, if your editor doesn't know how to do these things they're asking you to do, right? How the hell can they instruct you? Because editors are supposed to kick the shit out of you. They're not there to be your friends. They're not there to be your buddies. They're there to mutilate you and make you better.
You mean it's not like beating a drum?
I would add to the symptom there, JD, in that it's not only that there are bad editors in place. I know plenty of them from Marvel and DC alike, but it's also the whole network sphere that is coming in and fucking up the whole business too.
Right.
You have people that are highly influential that have been there for years, that have done trench work or foot soldier work, and are genuinely passionate about these things, but they have no sense of direction or control when it comes to creating, as you'd say. And when they are starting to expand into these areas where they are trying to network with people or creators, quote unquote, that are writing for an entirely different genre and different audience of mind, they seem to carry out the books or carry out writers or creators that have primarily no skill in telling an actual 3-arc story. They rather want to tell a graphic novel, and that you can already see with the benefit of having the trade paper rather than the floppies, because people want art. They want more quick, fast-paced stories with at least a conclusion in sight. Whereas for them, they waste a lot of time within the American comics format.
Yeah, because I think a lot of the up and coming writers, they're learning their craft from manga. Now the thing is manga's long form, and when you get it in your hands, you're holding a 200 or 300 page thing, and it's to go back to what Stinch was saying. When you're dealing with a 20-page comic, that thing has to be quick and pithy, for it to make an impact. You understand? When it's all gathered together, it should also read well, but you have to be able to balance those things, and it's not easy. I wouldn't tell you that it's easy. It's difficult.
I concur with that, but I take mainly influence of manga to my works, but I know how to control decompression.
Right.
They don't. They can't. They can't do the balancing act of keeping that within the floppy, or at least like the 24 pages with the manga.
I want to say something. There's Kenshi Sonata is somebody I studied a lot of manga artists. There's Gunsmith Cats, Bean Bandit, and this guy can make a car chase in a manga the most nail-biting, edgy seat thing. A car chase, and I'm like, you don't see that in American comics. I'd never seen an interesting car chase in American comics, and I'm studying how this guy is doing it, and I'm like, I gotta steal this. So I got so many Kenshi Sonata Gunsmith Cats little trades. Well, I'm just studying how he's doing this shit, and I decided I can't learn it, so I'm going to straight up steal one of his car chases. I'm straight up stealing it. I did want to bring up the fact that Daphne says there's a week
to do. If you don't want to follow what they want to do, then it's not FU money as much as an FU attitude.
Well, they got Daddy Disney and Daddy AT&T though, so
no, they're not that secure up there. Just ask wait a minute, just ask what's his face.
Oh yeah, I mean recently the layoffs are just proving that point really. But yeah, you don't make a lot of fucking money in comics. If you want, you got to put a side gig and get fuck me money.
Marvelous Security.
It came from the radio. Has a hey JD, and Grant says Rain Zimmerman disagrees with Rain Zimmerman. Yeah. I don't.
Oh, and it's a bad and sad attitude from people that consider themselves to be snooty and above everybody else. Yeah. They're better than their audience. They know better than their audience, and they really don't.
The thing is there's two specific cases that I know of people who have practically destroyed themselves in comics. They're still in. One of them is Dave Sim. We know about his wars with his fans and his letters pages, and he had, I think at one point he was selling 80,000 copies.
Yeah.
And after that, those wars, we're talking about 20,000.
Yeah.
You understand? And I mean, towards the end, probably like 15 or 10. And then you see his new books, right? Service and Hell, they're selling 3,000 and 4,000 copies. And then the only thing that seems to have helped him is he reprinted Spawn #7, I guess, with the deal he had with Todd McFarlane, where Service was in it. He made a metric ton of money, 97K, I think, or somewhere there's about. Good for him. I like Dave. I think he's a talented dude. Little, crazy, but whatever. But the other case that I know of is Bill Willingham when he wrote The Elementals. And if you look in those letters pages, he was having a straight up war with his fans, and he would tell them, "Don't buy my book. Don't buy my book." And I saw him in one time in an interview. He says, "You know, you tell your fans that enough times, they stop buying your book." And
Guess what? Yep.
that's right. And the thing is with Bill, you know, after that, he did what did he do? He did two things. He did Coventry and he did Ironwood.
Mhm.
He did Ironwood, which was an adult book, right?
Yep.
Coming out of Fantagraphics.
It's a hardcore adult book.
Oh yeah, it was hardcore adult book. Oh yeah, it was XXX, so all the way.
Wife loved it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, great book.
I want to
But,
read that.
Yeah, but then he did Coventry, which only lasted 4 issues, and then he was gone for a good 10 years.
Yeah.
And then he came back. He started doing some little indie stuff, and then he managed to get into DC. Managed to befriend Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman brought him in. You know, said, "Listen, do this, do this." They did a couple of things. He did a Proposition Player. Didn't work out. Had to cap that soon after. Moved on to Fables. Had a huge hit. 150 issues. Fantastic. Cut it off at 150. I don't know why, because if you read that last issue, it looks like he could have had another 50, 60 issues in it. So I don't know what went on there. I'm sure there's an interesting story. But now, where is he?
Yeah.
You understand? And I mean, he's an incredible writer. And you know, and if he draws, he's an incredible illustrator. You understand? But you know, this and he doesn't war with his fans anymore because he's learned. If you ever hear Bill, he is real nice to his fans. You know, but you know, Bill is a bit of a curmudgeon. He'll tell you. I've seen him on podcasts. He'll be like, "I'm a curmudgeon, man. I don't know what to tell you," you know. But he's real nice because he's learned.
Yeah.
He's learned. He knows what it was like to be burned. And he had 150 issues of success.
Mhm.
You know, that built him back up. But
Is there ever a point where you think you got FU money? You could tell the fans, "Hey, you know what?
if I got
I
If I
don't
got
see,
$20 million,
I don't see
sure.
it in comics. I don't see it in this industry.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even think you'd see it in like Eastman and Laird.
Mhm.
Granted, Laird just kind of dropped out of sight, but
Mm-hmm.
Eastman turned into a nicer guy after a while. I've seen people take on FU attitudes
Yeah.
that don't last very long because they figure it out, like what JD was saying with Willingham. Because you figure out that you chase off that money goes away.
Yep.
It's just simple logic that
Yeah.
some of these people up there don't want to adhere to or don't or think that they're better than.
Well,
And the whole "don't buy my book" should
Yeah.
get a call in their ear immediately from their editor,
Mhm.
and that's when the FU call comes in to straighten the F up.
yeah.
Because you don't want to chase off that but they don't see the mainstream has gotten to the point where they are so small with the big corporation that runs. The big corporation doesn't care what the little guy does. In fact, now it looks like that especially CW is going right over the printed comic from the inception of the hero straight to the TV series.
Mhm.
With this Naomi and Wonder Girl and all of this, they're skipping right over any type of book or any type of legacy and just jumping right to you got a character for us? Oh, that's cool. That's, character does this and this. Well, we'll do a whole TV series of it. The printing end of it is literally the bottom crap on their boot.
Mhm.
And so these people that work in that industry, in that so-called mainstream, figure now they can do whatever they want. They can push whatever agenda they want. They can tell everybody off that they want. They can do whatever they damn well please. Well, that train stops eventually. DC's going to stop printing books here pretty soon. Marvel's going through a hardcore bloodbath right now that nobody wants to talk about, but a lot of these books are going to be gone in a year. And with the economy working the way that it is, they'll be lucky if they're a tenth of that company is left at the end of 2021. I mean, the printing company, not the IP company, because Disney rolls on, Disney streaming rolls on. MCU will always roll on at least for another 10, 20 years before they even think about stopping.
And I want to go back to that last
printed comics, and it's going to take somebody else, like I keep saying, somebody else is going to spring up and find a format that's accessible at a good price point for people to buy in another distribution route, whether it's Walmart's, dollar stores, or whatever, and to pick that corner of the market back up again and start getting the kids back into reading.
I want to go to that last statement he made. Dan and Kwanzaa have reached a pinnacle of personal, professional, and artistic truth, and nothing can be more beautiful.
I think that rates this.
I will take shit that didn't happen for $500.
That's in their minds. They've reached that point. That's the problem. That's the problem. It's only in their heads, though. It's not in the sales. It's not in the numbers.
Howard Stern has FU money. Howard Stern has
FU money. Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. Need comic money.
Joe Rogan has FU money.
Film guys have FU.
Bob Dylan just totally received FU money.
Yeah.
For his catalog. It's like, hey, I don't have to write nothing ever again. See ya. When you get to that point, you can do that. But I don't know if anybody in comics that ever hits that pinnacle.
Well, what's staying at it?
Well, I would say Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee probably.
Todd
McFarlane's worth over
McFarlane maybe, but not. I can't see that happening either because he keeps making great toys.
I think he loves comics.
He's playing. He's not telling anybody to go F you. He's telling everybody, look at this cool toy. This is awesome.
No, also diversification also is a thing that people should be thinking outside of like.
There's not enough money in comics for FU money.
The Rebel says, "Van, read it like Kwanzaa." The only way Kwanzaa read is Kwanzaa. Say what he wants to say. Money. Same with Dan Scott. These guys make fuck you money. Money where you can tell anyone. Reads included to kiss your ass and kick rocks in flip flops. In the 50s, when your beloved Stan and Flo were running things, they're making peanuts and had to rely on crappy readers to keep their meager peanuts flowing in. Dan and Kwanzaa have reached the pinnacle of personal, professional, and artistic truth, and nothing can be more beautiful. Thank you.
But
can I say something?
Back and Stan and Flo were running things. They cared about they cared about the people. They cared about the income. They cared about the money that was making. Marvel was always teetering on the fence of bankruptcy constantly during that period. Now they've got the support of big boy Disney. And he's right. The attitude has shifted, but not in the way he's thinking. The reason the attitude has shifted isn't because they have FU money. It's the fact that the big boys, their bosses that are above them, don't give a flying fuck what they do to make that money, because that money's too small for them to even worry about.
Yeah.
Damn, man, that Huey Boondock's impersonation hit deep.
But here's the thing, though, like that portion where they've hit like an artistic pinnacle, right? Now, let me ask you guys a question. We may agree or disagree on this. Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, Grant Morrison, perhaps three of the best superhero comics, Marvel DC writers that have ever been around.
You forgot Frank Miller.
Okay. What? Oh no, Frank Miller. You can throw him in there.
Can.
Do you think any one of those gentlemen would ever say that they've hit like an artistic peak? You understand?
I would say that Moore has figured that he ran into a wall and has told everybody to F off, but not because he doesn't have enough, or that he's got enough money, and that he's got FU money and everybody can go fly. It's because his artistic integrity had been challenged. And quite what it is for him, totally violated, and that he was castrated to the point where he just walked away.
Mm-hmm.
Gaiman, on the other hand, he went out into other fields. Mm-hmm. So he's got prose books where he can make hard money at it. He might get to a point where he can FU the comic industry.
Mm-hmm. No, my point is not a thing about FU. It's not about that. It's about reaching an artistic peak.
Yeah.
You understand? I mean, I'm not talking about them having FU money. You understand? I'm talking about hitting an artistic peak. I don't think they would tell you that, oh, yeah, I've reached my artistic peak. I was like, dude, I mean, they'll probably tell you, I'll reach my artistic peak when you're burying me in the ground. That'll be it. You understand? My last breath. That'll
Bernie
be my
Wrightson?
artistic peak.
Yeah, Bernie Wright. Yeah.
What about it?
Yeah, he hit his artistic peak by going to the grave. You don't know what you would see if it was still live. What he would create now.
Right.
Somebody
Like every
didn't have an appreciation.
A lot of these workhorses were like that, though. They worked until they couldn't. So,
right.
Hello, Joe.
Joe,
how's it going?
Joe, obviously about my reading of Kwanzaa had to pop in here, and he's gonna berate me now.
No, I learned my lesson from last time. Don't try to jump in while you're on public transportation.
Joe, what are you? I know you're joining us late, but you said you heard a lot. FU money, you ever gonna get it? And when you do, are you gonna tell people to F them?
film guys have FU money?
No, I don't have any of that. It's like if I had that type of money, why would I care? I'll just get somebody else to do the work and just put my name on it, like how most other people do.
I would to JD's point, when you say you reach the pinnacle, that means that's it. I've reached the pinnacle in a lot of things.
That's assuming that it's a pinnacle.
Yeah. I've reached my sexual pinnacle back when I was 22, and that's it. That had been a downslide since then. It's
Lola, sorry.
Yeah. It's not looking good, fellas. No. But when you get to that point where you say I can't get any better, I hope to God Dan can get better. And Dan's not a bad writer. I mean, he wrote a couple things that I have enjoyed. Don't get me wrong.
Wait, who are we talking about now?
Oh, I was saying Dan Slott. Like Dan Slott has wrote things that I really do like.
Because you mentioned a few people, but you didn't mention the guy that I like the most, which is Claremont, because Claremont did both the comics and prose.
Yeah, but see, Chris Claremont's one of those special ones that we don't have. We just know, like, he's a good writer. I don't think it's Chris.
He's making FO money.
Yes,
he ain't making FU money. He's making FO money.
Mm-hmm.
He's making it, or at least he was. I don't know how long that contract extends for, but he's getting paid for Marvel to F off.
This is sit on the sidelines.
Yeah,
not get involved.
FO money.
Yeah, which is nice. I bet you a lot of that money though they're paying him to sit on the sidelines also comes with a gag order.
Yes. Yes,
I'm pretty sure it's got a gag order attached to it.
Gag and an NDA, probably all attached to that. Yeah.
Don't you say anything to anybody.
Don't do anything. Don't go anywhere. Here's some money.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt with Byrne with the so-called side story that he wrote that is never ever going to get published.
Which story?
He wrote a new X-Men story that he wrote and penciled himself, and he actually had images of it where he said, feel free to ink it and everything. It's not going to ever be published, but
yeah, it seems he had a meeting with Marvel and it didn't work out.
That must be the recent Marvel then. You're John who? You're John what? Yeah. Why is this white male in here?
Speaking of Marvel, guys, I've been shocked. I've been at Target. I've been at Walmart.
Or I should say, this old white guy. Why is this old white guy in here?
Yeah, I've been at Target. I've been Walmart. I've been all around different stores. This, holiday season, and I noticed something I haven't seen. I was walking down the aisle at Target, and I seen the circle with the X in it, and I said, "Oh, what is that? Who's ripping off the X-Men logo?" Because you don't see X-Men pajamas anymore unless they're like hanging in the thrift shop window.
Dude, that was the wrong kind of indicator. You're supposed to step right on that circle and wait for the anvil to hit you on your head.
Yeah, I pull it back and it's X-Men, right? I'm like, holy crap, X-Men jammies? I gotta get my son some of these. And I go into the toy section and there's X-Men toys. Like a ridiculous amount of X-Men toys. And I'm like, wow, since Disney got that license back, they're really pumping it now. You feel bad if you're the Inhumans. They're back to mid card again, or during the curtain, because they're no longer like, because remember for a while they were gonna make the Inhumans like the New Mutants. Basically, they were gonna be not the New Mutants, but they were gonna be mutant stand-ins.
Yeah. That's what Perlmutter insisted to be promoted.
now that they got the X-Men back,
Yeah.
they got Wolverine mask, and it just like, guys, you took them away for like what, 10 years? Just about 10 years. We didn't have X-Men things, and now all of a
Why
sudden,
not? It's all part of Disney Plus streaming now.
yeah.
And that cartoon's getting a renaissance. They were talking about doing another season of that cartoon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
They were gonna bring it back.
everybody's popping up and watching it again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of the voice actors are passing now.
Just like the Clone Wars. Holy crap! The last season of even though they had all of that was already recorded, all they had to do was animate it. But holy crap, the animation on that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And finally, one of our last questions of the night from Indie Vote Radio. By the way, I want to thank you guys right now. We are sitting at 66,904 people listening. Thank you to Egypt, Brazil, and the UK. Actually, listening pretty cool late at night. Thank you guys for listening. Really do appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Feel free.
It's not late at night anymore. That seems to be early in the morning over there.
Yeah. Feel free to pop in over to our YouTube, see our beautiful faces, and like and subscribe this video. Like and subscribe to this video and to our station, so you can get notifications and updates whenever we post another video. But one last question, Randy, is with Indie Vote Radio, a gentleman want to know, from Indie Vote Radio, a gentleman want to know if we think that the current trend of people becoming overnight millionaires with crowdfunding, at least in his country's dollars, is ever going to end. And I'll let you guys all weigh in on that, and I'll do the last one. Let's start with somebody who's not in the country. Jake from Indie Vote.
Jake from Whackbacker.
Yeah. Jake, do you think it's going to end?
The what? The gravy train?
Yeah,
definitely. Everything's got to end at some point. Wait, repeat the question again.
he wants to know if we think that the current trend of overnight millionaires from indie comics is going to end. And again, he says this is in his country's dollars. He didn't say what country he's from, but obviously he's probably not in the States. But he wants to know if we think this is going to come to an end at some point and when that'll happen.
Yeah, I'll still stay on. I still stand on my point on that, because we're now reaching an overcapacity, I think, in the coming 2 to 3 years. When everyone is doing crowdfunding, there's going to be a strain in the market because everyone will be attracting their own audiences. But the problem is that how much new blood can you attract with that new audience?
Mm.
And I'm just seeing that there's a wide circulation of different backers that primarily attract the same type of audience from different creators. It's just a pool of influencers, really, and how strong that is. And if you're not into comics, well, it's going to be hard to persuade people that are not into comics to get into comics. And what the job there has to be done is to get amazing people like yourself more broaden out to the world, and make people aware that there is a fantastic culture that is out there waiting for you to explore, and maybe be a little bit of a risk taker and try to bet on money down on some first prints on new copies that probably have value at some point in the future. You got to attract those like you will inevitably attract that whole like investment wave that you had like in the 90s, where people are betting their mortgage and everything on a bunch of comics that will be selling hotcakes in 10-year span. And no, that will never happen. Variants and shit. No, I predict that there will be a crash. I'm sad to say, but living in that golden age, it's going to be short term. Not a 10-year span, not a 20-year span, 2 years or 3 years. That's it.
How about you, JD? You think you're gonna see a crash, like Jake says, or I think we're gonna?
Well, the thing is like, who's crashing? You understand? There are plenty of us somewhere towards the bottom making 2, 3, 4 grand, right? And then you have plenty of other people who are making 100K plus or 80K plus or even 50K plus. Now, if those guys crash to where I'm at, am I going to crash? You understand? I have an audience that brings me to where I'm at. and I'm constantly fighting to build that audience, but I have an audience. Now,
Yeah,
if they have an audience, it depends. You understand? I mean, will there be a crash? Who knows? You understand? I mean, all I know is this: the going is good, and you got to go with it for as long as you can. As long as you can go for it, and that's it. You understand? If it crashes, it crashes. What are you gonna do? Cry? Hey, listen, make as much as you can while you can.
Yeah, I tell you right now, I got a couple of block covers. Put those on. I'm hitting the streets. I'm getting my money. I know exactly where to hit to. I live too close to a couple of hoity-toity malls. Where I can. No,
I guess like the red flag that you want to look after. I'm just going to add that the red flag will be that when the top dogs are trying to lower their risk investment. And from going like the 10Ks to like 2Ks or whatever, when they start lowering down to the competition that they're on par to par with the dogs, that there's a problem with a lot of influx of campaign writers. On to you, John. Joe.
I don't know. I see the problem differently. And it's weird in this aspect because you got the people who look at the crowdfunding as their sole of revenue for their IPs, and you got other people who don't. So to predict a crash, you have to have where the majority of independent comic creators solely using that platform, and I don't see that happening. There might be an ebb and flow based upon usage, but I don't see a total crash of it because not everybody is going to depend on crowdfunding. Just like right now, not everybody depends on it right now. Yes, it helps us to get books out. I mean, you have people like me that treats it like pre-sales, while you have other people that's trying to produce their dream product or their dream project. That's two different mentalities going in there. My mentality is, I got a book. I'm pretty much funding it myself. I'm just putting it out to my audience for pre-sales before I take it to all my other revenue options here. While that person with that dream project, like Jake said, that's their how did he put it? Their 401k right there, that they're pulling out, really, hoping that somebody backed this where they could really do something with it. And that type of campaign writer is definitely going to be different from the way that we write our campaign.
Right. And that is the whole point of seeing business in a way of diversifying your market as a not only IP holder, but as a guy that wanted to run merch, for instance, or run a Gumroad and a passive income on top of that, not just the whole. Yeah, I agree to that there will be the most I will suffer the casualty of that will be the guys that want to focus on their daydream. Then again, we'll have to wait and see because these are new markets that are yet to be really stress tested.
Hey, it's funny you guys mentioned that. I'll tell you guys when we're off the air a conversation that I had that was really bizarre and very funny. Randy, what do you think?
I've been quiet through all this. I've just been letting everybody else speak.
Go ahead.
Before I whip out my soapbox. And
go ahead. Get on that soapbox. There you go.
I want to talk.
You want us to dust it off first because it's been overdue.
Yeah.
It's been overdue.
Let me pull it up here so I can stand it.
There you go.
Anyway.
Hear you.
I could do a whole video. I could do a whole video on this. Probably should. But everybody here, everybody that's out there that's listening, the radio.
The end is nigh.
No.
It's just beginning. It's really just beginning.
Yeah.
We are at a point in comics, in sequential art right now, that's a sweet spot. It doesn't happen very often. And I'm a huge, this industry, this art form is my passion. I love it. Love every aspect of it. Love working with it. Love talking about it. I love talking anyway. But we are at such a sweet spot. The alternative and the independent market is at such a sweet spot because we are rising. And we're not just rising. There is no ceiling. We're looking up And some people say that it's there, but it's not. Believe it or not, it's not there. We're a rising entertainment entity, independent and alternative comics, not sequential comics, not Marvel, not DC, because you can look at those companies and you can't help but see those companies are dying. They're dying on the vine, they're cutting, they're bloodbathing, they're doing all of this. We, meaning alternative and independent comics, are rising. Not just the big boys, not the guys that are out there pulling down 6-7 figures. Those are the guys that are leading the way that we need to stop for a second and look at to see what they're doing to try to incorporate in what we're doing. Because having a big name, having an industry mainstream titled name doesn't mean jack, and it's not going to mean jack, especially here in the States in the next couple of years, because nobody knows who those people are outside of a small circle of people that have been reading comics all of their life. What we need to do now as independent and alternative people is go out there and know where we're at, know we're in that sweet spot, and go out there and grab the largest fucking audience we can possibly grasp. And that means doing everything, everywhere, every time, taking those chances, banging into those markets that aren't being addressed right now, doing those books that we think that we want to do that can sell. Not what these idiots up there at the big high towers think that they absolutely have to have. That the works of art are going to come out of us. The works of crap are coming out of them. We need to do art. We need to elevate this art form and turn it into the money-making prospect. And we're at a sweet spot because we don't have a middleman. We don't have a highfalutin editor-in-chief. We don't have some executive coming down telling us we have to push one IP over top of another. It's up to us to gather our money and to get our audience and to keep our audience where it's at and to get more audience, to go out and find other avenues to attract that audience, to start thinking out of the box. We don't have to fit into that fucking bag if we don't want to fit there. We don't have to be leaned up by that goddamn board if we don't want to be there. We don't have to be sizable for slabbing if we don't want to be there. We need to go out and stretch this market in every direction. Cheap, expensive, accessible, non-accessible, coffee table books, anything that we can possibly make a dime on. We need to go out there and try to do it because we are at that sweet spot. We are, and we ought to be the leaders because we're the artistic ones. We're the ones out here taking chances and doing shit. If you see where this market grows, anytime this market grows, adapts, and gets bigger, it's because somebody's taken an artistic chance. And we need to do that. Take a look at early Marvel with Stan Lee when he did Fantastic Four #1. He could have kept doing the same crap he was always doing. He decided to start adding some dramatic elements to it and move the art form. Look at there, and that's just one example out of a ton in the history of comics. And we are sitting right at a sweet spot in order to transcend this market and make it better. Raise the quality, raise the bar, and push the good stuff. We need to be screaming to everybody, whether they're, especially if they're not into comics, about how great comics are. We need to start pushing independent IPs out there into the media that are unique, that are special, that are artistic, that have an individual viewpoint. And we need to push this art form up into what it can be. And what it can be is a huge money-making prospect for anybody out there who's got the artistic skill enough to go out there and grab that brass ring. And it's sitting there. There's no ceiling. There's no breaking point that until we hit it. Is there going to be a crash? I don't think so. I don't think there's ever going to be. You're going to see a crash next couple of years. It ain't going to be with us. It's going to be with Disney giving up wanting to print comics because they think print is dead. It's going to be from AT&T who decides that these books suck, or hey, the young adult market doesn't make it, so let's fire the young adult editor-in-chief. Boom, gone. They are producing crap, and we know they're producing crap. We see it all the time that they are producing shit, and we need to start producing the gold that makes the money. We don't have a distributor. We are the distributor. We don't have a middleman anymore. Even the retailers are seeing this happening. All the money is slipping away from them. They want to blame us. We're the ones out there doing what we love. And these idiots up there at these high towers are doing shit to propagate whatever propaganda they want to push and not make money. We want to make money. Let's make money. The retailers want to make money. Get with us and we'll figure out a way to make money. Not with these people. These people don't give a shit if you have your store 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. They don't give a crap. Most of them up there hate you already. They consider what you are doing as a passe. You're old fashioned. You're past the times. We know better because we're doing comics. We're doing what we love. Now's the time for us to get super creative and just break this fucking ceiling open and start pushing comics for what it ought to have been this entire time, despite the Comics Code Authority, despite these idiots on their high towers telling us what we can and cannot produce, or what hoops we have to get through, or what minimums we have to reach, or whatever the fuck way that they want to try to keep us down. We need to start being creative and getting out there and setting marks on our own. Yes, there's going to be more $1 million companies out there. There's going to be more books out there making 6 figures, 7 figures, and we need to go out there and grab more people out there so that we can bring more people up into making 6, 7 figures too. That's what I've got to say. And it's through podcasts like this, through us talking to each other and talking to everybody else that's going to promote this. Screw these middle guys. Screw these guys up on their high towers. They don't know what they're doing. We know they don't know what they're doing because we can do it better than what they're doing now, and we need to prove it. That's what I got to say. So yeah, is there going to be a breaking point? Let's find out. But let's find out after we're all too old to hold a fucking pencil, and we're all sitting on an island someplace drinking the rewards of our success. That's what I'm saying. This is the Wild West out there, and you're not going to see the end of it for quite a long time to come, as long as we keep it rolling. And we need to jump up and get in charge. Everybody needs to do the best shit that they can and just keep pounding out there and ignore these idiots in the mainstream. You see the young adult book, the kid that's Starfire. You know it's an embarrassment. You see this the girl, the lady who wrote the Starfire kid book, Get Detective Comics. You know it's an embarrassment. You know it's an embarrassment. Ignore that. Do better. Do your best. Let's make some gold out there and make some money. That's what we need to do, and make good entertainment and figure out how to get that entertainment into the widest audience we possibly can. And the way that we're going to do that is by programs like this, where we start talking back and forth to one another, exchanging ideas and pushing this art form forward. Fuck them people. We are in charge. We are the thinkers. We're the dreamers. We're the wizards of this industry, and we need to prove it and do it. I'm sorry. That's my thought. That's what we need to do. Seriously.
And that was just from an IndieVille radio question. And also make sure it's coming soon, everybody. 2021. Lola's actually been working on it. She has her trays now. Zim soap bars coming soon from indievolt.com. 2 great prints, Newsprint and Education Elderberry. Make sure you pick up yours.
Education Elderberry.
Yeah.
That rare smell of newsprint. Yes, sir.
So when you buy the book, will you get the actual soapbox itself?
Actually, she's looking for little soapboxes. She's looking for little.
If only we could capture the smell of a newsprint book that sat in the attic for 10 years. That's that smell, JD. I see it on your face. That's the smell.
Says JD doesn't have FU money. He has give me money.
Give me as much as you can.
Rebel Gamer says Chris Claremont is a legend. Chris is the reason I write comics. Blame him for Niobe.
There you go.
Damn it.
And you know what? Here to jump back up on that soapbox for a minute. Larry loves Chris Claremont. Got him in the business, right? Got him. It's prompted him to write Niobe the best way that he knows how. So how does Marvel treat Chris Claremont now? Is he out there inspiring anybody else? Fuck no. He's being paid to shut the hell up and not write.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how much Marvel cares about this industry. Just saying.
Stench, as everyone knows, real money is furry money.
Furry
one
money,
person
yeah.
got this Earth money. Icharo Oda, One Piece, yeah. It says mid card, low tier. Not until I get my millions as Rebel Gaming. It's competition, boys, and more to choose from means you got to push hard to get noticed. It's called speculation. It still happens big time. Just look on eBay. Stench, exactly. Now people are on to Randy's soapboxing. Preach it, Randy. Heck yeah, Randy.
Thank you.
That's in the soapbox. That's a war
It's a war cry. Yep.
That's a war cry.
Amen, Randy. We're Image 2.0, more loose in fashion, but that's basically it. A glass to that. People who struck out on their own to make an impact. Encore says Rebel Gaming, and till we get FU money. Yeah. And normally when Randy gets on the soapbox, there's a little bit more cursing. I only counted about 5 fucks in that whole one. But,
no, that's been brewing up the last couple days when you see the ridiculous bullshit that these companies are doing, and you sit there and you go, "Why are you doing this? Why does Starfire's kid look like a little runt with black lips?" I mean black, not African American lips. I mean black lips.
Yeah,
and she looks exactly like the girl that's writing her. Who's letting them get away with this shit?
Well, I'll tell you exactly who's them. If they get away with it, because apparently the people who do that shit don't realize that at some point, some of these people are going to come back for what they consider to be likeness rights. I guarantee you it's not in the contract. They're going to come back and want likeness rights.
I don't know. It just dismay. But then you realize that half of this shit, like New Warriors and the Starfire book and that, these companies are kicking it out there just to piss us off. Because we know it's shit. They must know that it's close to shit. Right? Let's hope they do. Because we've been in this business a long time, and we've been entertained by this. Most of us have been entertained by comics. If we're doing comics, we pretty much know and have a deep love and passion for comics. We see this stuff come out, and you go, "What the fuck?"
To say that they realize that they're doing bad comics, I think is asking much. Because I don't think they actually realize that they suck.
No, I think I don't think that's. I think that there's people up there that know that they're doing shit comics, and they're doing it on purpose in order to tear the art form down.
I don't really know,
because they see the art.
But isn't that what typically happens when these companies go Hollywood? They don't care about the tradition, the technique, the rhyme and reason. They just want to put out the product as fast as possible to keep the money chain going.
Either that, or they're bitter because they perceive the art form as being mostly male power fantasies, which has been driven into their head and driven into the retailer's head, that's all that this product can be.
I'll tell you guys this.
Oh, they cater to them males. So they want to literally be the destroyer of worlds. And to stomp on these... There's a lot to be said.
I mistook the goth makeup short stack for a point that hit my feathers and I saw it was a self-insert.
There's a lot to be said or noticed about the propaganda power of comics. The book I'm writing right now. I'm looking at Moulton Marston and the creation of Wonder Woman, and the fact that he intentionally created Wonder Woman the way that he did in order to get certain results that ended up happening and fueling the feminist movement. Well, some of these feminists are looking at that because that's been the big topic of Wonder Woman has probably been the character that's had the most written about her origins, especially lately. And people that are just coming into the market are looking at this as heavy research and not as just one aspect of the business and going, oh, well, we need to do that only in the opposite direction. We need to, instead of building people up which is what Marston did in building up the feminist agenda. They need to tear down the masculine agenda. And that's what they're out to do. That's why you're seeing all of these milquetoast males popping into well, and that's been happening for quite a few years in the larger, idiot companies' products.
Yeah.
That's why they're eager to go out there and get a hold of Conan, just so that they can cuck him.
It's weird that you mention that.
Yeah,
I
agree. I agree because again, if you read the Golden Age Wonder Woman, Marston did a lot and tackled a lot of topics that would be almost taboo now without having people offended. It's like he tackled BDSM just for the simple fact that they was up here talking about binding Amazons to keep them docile.
I got a direct quote from Marston here. I found in a book. Let me find my other glasses here if I can.
I just got a message from Indie Vote Radio. It says, guy says the reader didn't put his name, but he says he's a male. He was talking to another male at a comic store who says that his dream is to actually write the Phantom. He thinks it's pretty odd that the Phantom's always replaced by his son. So there's never been a female Phantom. But also, he finds it odd that there's never been a gay Phantom.
I think somebody wrote a female Phantom at one time.
Yeah, but he says his friend says that he finds it odd there's never been a gay Phantom, and his goal is to write a gay Phantom story. Okay, I don't know how that changes the Phantom's character. I don't know if that changes the plot of the Phantom either. I mean, does it really change? He's already wearing a purple suit. I mean, he's guys like there's nothing you can do. I mean, he's gonna go around. He's got the ring with the skull on it. The idea is he socks you with that ring, and leaves an imprint.
Oh, I can't find that quote now. But anyway, Marston basically, when he pitched Wonder Woman to the company, said that he wanted to write the American woman that the current girls could turn out to be. Mm-hmm. That was his whole intent. The start of the feminist and the women's lib movement can go directly right back to Marston's Golden Age Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. Gloria Steinem will back that up. In fact, she wrote the introduction for the Wonder Woman collection.
And it is my dream to be the new version of Mr. Marston.
There's power in these properties. There's power in the IPs that we create, and we need to capitalize on that. And we need to figure out how to make the creators money for once, instead of being the downtrodden cogs that they've been treated like by the large corporations.
I'm gonna make it happen too.
That should be everybody here's goal. Anybody that works in alternative comics, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Not just that, but I'm also going to make sure that I can get plural marriages happening in this country.
Check the DMs on Twitter, Randy. I got a perfect image for you.
Randy's being cussed out on Twitter. That's what's happening.
Where now? We're being cussed out on Twitter?
No. He says
no. Check out the DMs. I'll send you something that will quite fit the topic.
Also, want to send out a goodwill.
There's messages.
While we're on air, I want to send out a get well to Jay.
I don't see it, Jake.
Okay.
I want to send out a. So did you check Twitter?
Oh, he said to Randy. Okay, I thought to say.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I don't see it.
I want to send a personal get well to.
He said that on Twitter. Okay.
To Jay R. Dunn, his son, one of his children, is tested positive for COVID. So I wanted to send a goodwill out to his son. I know that's hard to deal with. He's also now under quarantine.
And just keep in mind the survival rate on that is 97.007%. Yeah, 99.007%. So.
Yeah, his son is a strong young man. Strong. What's it? A 10, 11-year-old. So he's actually feeling a lot better right now. It is under the 2-week quarantine, but he's stuck in the house with that boy for the next 2 weeks.
I'm sorry, Jake. I'm not seeing it.
I pinged it now on D. I tweeted it. I sent it in the DMs, but I sent it now as a tweet instead.
Okay. Rebel says
I must not have you on there.
Was I tagged in the tweet?
Yeah, I tagged Indie VOLT.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't have the IndieVolt account. I've got my own.
Right.
Rebel says, no, they don't. Referring to about 5 minutes ago, they do not know it's crap. They have market research that tells them this is the trend. This issue is bad. This issue is bad market research.
Well, that explains the entire market for the last 30 years because of that one demographic study that said the majority of their readers were 25 to 55, mostly white, mostly male. And they started catering everything to that and to the retailers that sold that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been these market research studies have been the bane of our existence from the start, and it's always the artistic stuff that breaks beyond that eventually makes the money. You know, it might not make the money initially because you had Watchmen that sat out there forever, wasn't a big hit, but I'm sure DC will tell you it's one of their hottest sellers now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go over here to Twitter.
And again, it's a market study. Done outside of the market, and we don't know. Like I keep saying, everybody wants to jump on Scholastic and the fact that they're selling all these. We don't know their numbers. They're not letting anybody know their numbers. And if they're selling the hell out of them books, I sincerely hope that Raina and the guy who does Dogman are duly compensated for their success because they deserve it.
You know, it's funny. I can't speak to any of those two, but I know. Damn it, there's another one. Damn it. I have a friend who works in editorial for one of these big companies, and he works on one of those big ones. He works on like the third one down. I forgot what it is. It's something about some boy, and like half of it is comics and half of it is prose, but whatever. And he says that guy does phenomenally well, but he's beneath those two. He's beneath.
Well,
those
that's
two.
good. I hope, like I said, I hope they're selling well, and I hope they're being compensated because that's how you get new readers in, is to drag them in from outside of the standard market.
Because he says this guy's on vacation 8 months out of the year, and then he comes back to just do his book, and then he'll release the one book.
Yeah,
isn't that
the way it goes?
Yeah, Jake sent this in. That's what he posted on Twitter. Yeah, you do not fit in here. Get my own place. Why are you excluding us? Oh no, you do not fit in. It's a vicious cycle. Also, I know you guys didn't get a chance to see this. JD, what do you think? Should I have bought it? Do I need to go back to Hobby Lobby?
Oh, now since I can see it a little bit better on the phone.
Did you buy it?
No, I didn't. It's $21, and I've been wondering if I should go back. Did I make a mistake and not purchase it?
I don't think you did.
No.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, what's funny out of it with that, I would have actually preferred no color.
Yeah.
Personally speaking, I would prefer it in black and white.
Yeah. There's a cool poster over at another store I seen. It's Deadpool, and it's real muted colors,
right?
But it says made in the 90s, and it's got all this old school 90s stuff behind it, triangles and zebra stripes, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, and it's very muted colors. But then I see this Kirby Thor painted as if it's new.
Right.
With a new modern, computer coloring.
That's not painted. That's photoshopped. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
And
it's Photoshop, and I don't think it's Kirby.
You can't even call that painted. It does look like a trace job with the same dynamics.
Yeah, I think maybe somebody went over because what I was looking. I don't see it. You think Kirby? They would have kept Kirby's name in there, unless it's a cover. But I don't think that's a cover either. Because notice the issue number is blocked off. I don't think I think that's some Kirby art they put on the cover because it looks like there's Thor imagery behind him too. So
no, I'd have to see it up. I'd have to see it up close.
Photoshop compilation image where they took something from a panel and then they put the covers in the background and then they piecemealed the title stamp and the old school 60s. I want to say the character insignia.
And to think for a couple of $100 more, maybe, depending upon their pay scale, they could have gotten somebody like Ron Frenz or even Tom Scioli to do a Kirby version of Thor and make it awesome and dynamic and look really cool. But no, instead we get this, shit from somebody up in marketing who thinks that they know better.
Last question of the night from Indie VOLT Radio, and
it's another blown marketing opportunity, just like those books. that we looked at last year.
Well,
Oh my!
can I address one thing from one thing from Rebel Games since I haven't really read his comment here?
Sure.
Yeah, the thing that it's not, I want to say it's not bad marketing research. You have to understand that marketing research is based upon the average person. The average person does not necessarily read comic books. So when they do their market research, it's like people who may know about an IP and claim that they might know this, but they really don't.
They're about as reliable as a political poll.
Right.
Exactly.
Because people don't want to tell you who they're going to vote for.
It's just a feeling.
They'll tell you who you think that you want them to vote for.
And in some cases, they actually pay the people. So pretty much you could get people to come in, pay them like 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. They answer the questions. They don't even have to be truthful. They just come in, answer the question, give me my 50 bucks.
And it's really a shame up there in those marketing companies. All they have to do is have somebody who knows comics to sit there and go, that looks really cool. Though they probably did on that, they just don't, they don't know what would look really cool.
That's.
I think Marvel and DC have already fired all of those people, though. They were caught in the first bloodbath.
So I'm still trying to get over what their bean counters talk about most of the time. If it's like at one time, Marvel was talking about 25,000 units a month. I'm like, a comic book really hasn't done that consistently since the 90s. And you're up here talking about canceling book after book after book after book after book because it's not doing at least 25,000 units a month.
Just look at what comics were doing before the code kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right
that's what I'm talking about. During that time, this was from like 2010 to maybe 2016. Yeah, that was the benchmark for Marvel. Yeah, because I remember how Greg Pak went out to Twitter because of the simple fact that they was talking about canceling the Storm series. Because after that first issue sold somewhere about like 40,000 units. It wasn't going to see issue number 3 because the second issue it barely made 20,000 units. And their bean count is like, nope, we gotta get rid of it.
Yeah. But their entire line for the longest time was bloated. They were producing about 100, 120 books some months. I mean, they have to cut it. They have to cut it down to like 60. Actually, they should cut it down to maybe 20 quality books and try to build out from that. But you'd have to have a dedicated editorial staff that's
which they didn't have,
intelligent and know what they're doing.
You have to have, that's the key. You'd have to have skilled people.
They had a overly bloated marketing staff that was looking at the dollars and cents. And they were up here. It's like one hand was saying we got to oversaturate the market because this is the popular character of the month, but yet on the same hand they're saying, but it has to sell 25,000 units a month.
No, they have to oversaturate the market to make sure Image never happens again. That's why they oversaturate the market.
They got to take
push Image out, to push you out, to push me out, to push Randy out. That's why they oversaturated the market.
We don't have to worry.
They don't want that shelf space available so that we can shine. And that's been a problem for years. Because once Image came out, they were scared. They conquered DC in 1 month. DC went from the number 2 publisher to number 3 publisher, scared the shit out of Marvel, and they were like, damn, we can't ever let this happen again. So what are we going to do? Well, we have muscle, so let's use that muscle. 120 books a month. Good luck, fellas. Good luck finding a spot.
But they screwed themselves with that benchmark though. And that's what the real problem was. It's like you can't have that benchmark and then oversaturate the market.
Oh. This is our new rack, folks, right here.
Right.
Yeah.
This is our rack. This is our, that mailbox is our delivery, our distribution system. So the next year, nobody's going to want to go out until everything's all clear. And even then, you're going to have a hard time getting people to walk outside their house unless they have to.
From IndieVolt Radio, this is from Brad, who put up some more information. I don't want to put your name in there, Brad, because what you wrote is pretty
incendiary.
It's incendiary and a little bit, quite frankly, a little bit.
Start running that hashtag get an education tagline.
Yeah, a little bit provocative. I don't agree with everything you said. I understand your frustration.
It's going to be TVMA for sure. Okay.
I understand your frustration, but I don't agree with some of the things you said, and so I'll read it. And everybody, please.
Did you want to address this at another time, or do you think it needs to be addressed now?
We'll do it now. That's why I can burn all these off before the next show. So Brad, I'm gonna read this. Everybody, please hold your anger in until I'm finished with it. This is from Brad. Again, Brad writes from IndieVolt Radio to IndieVolt Radio. I'm laughing my ass off at all the print artists who are losing their shirts and hopefully their homes due to the pandemic and no cons. You all invested so much in your precious prints, built your Humpty Dumpty walls, and guess what? It's all tumbling down on your heads, and no one can put your fucking careers back together again. You laughed at the indie guys trying to do sequentials. You provoked the us versus you war, and guess what? You unimaginative fucks, we won. It took a pandemic to do it, but fuck if it's not happened. Enjoy the chow line, you uncreative IP stealing Goombas. And that was it. That was from Brad. I'm not putting the rest of the information up there because he actually included all his information. And Brad, I don't think you want people to come back at you and really attack you. My problem is I don't want anybody to lose their home. I don't want anybody to lose their home.
Reread the second part of that.
Nobody
went from one extreme to another, and it didn't make any sense.
He says, I'm laughing my ass off at all the print artists who are losing their shirts and hopefully their homes due to the pandemic and no con. You all invested so much in your precious prints, built your Humpty Dumpty walls, and guess what? It all came tumbling down on your heads, and no one can put your fucking careers back together again. You laughed at the indie guys doing sequentials, and you provoked an us versus you war, and guess what? You unimaginative fucks, we won. It took a pandemic to do it, but fuck if it's not happened. Enjoy the chow line, you uncreative IP stealing Goombas.
Let me get my knife.
No, actually, that I don't see. I see how it is fighting words because I know a lot of what he called print artists out there. I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
The pandemic hit, a lot of them did kind of shift. They did try to reach out to us indie guys for work. Some still, hitting the ground running with the online market.
Uh-huh.
But he's actually throwing that brick to start a riot, and I don't understand how or why.
I'm not putting the rest of Brad's information up there. You guys can't write me for it. I'm not.
No. We don't want that. I'm just trying to understand the reasoning behind it because it's like, yeah, they lost revenue, but at the same time, you got guys who coming up with their new IPs that's going to need somebody. They're going to need that cover artist. They're going to need that print artist to do something for them. So it's just like it.
So low one what? Not from my point of view, Brad. Every campaign I do tops the other one. Tell me again how guys like us are losing.
Well, no,
Larry, I don't think he's talking at all about guys like you. He's an independent.
No, he's talking about the indie creators.
Talking about the print people.
The guys that will come into a con that will sell you a print of Daredevil for like $40.
Yeah, he sees that now.
Those are the people that he's talking about.
Yeah, he's talking about guys who just do print and look, those guys. Some of those guys are transitioning doing covers now. I've seen it. I've seen a lot of guys doing covers. Probably writing for a lot less than they were getting for the prints, but hey, I'll do your cover for $200-$300. Whereas,
I think Brad's going to be sorely disappointed when conventions come back. They're going to come back.
Yeah.
Most of them will, not all of them will, because some of them will have moved on or evolved over into other stuff whenever that happens. It might be 2022 or 23 before they get back in there, but they'll be back. They're not as far gone as you think. Yeah, some of them are heavily invested and they've got a shit ton of stock that they're sitting on that they haven't been able to move in a year, but that doesn't, that maybe they'll blow that out in order to afford their house payment or whatever, and go back and make more.
I agree. Look, I understand his frustration. I understand I even understand his it's like, we won. Look, I got friends that do prints. All they do is prints, and they're really talented artists. Sometimes I wonder, like, dude, I don't see any sequential work from you. Can you do any of that? And most of them assure me they can. They just don't because there's no money in it. No one could predict the pandemic. No one could predict what was going to happen.
They perceive there's no money in it. There's a big difference.
Yeah. Well, the thing is now, though, I mean, that's a little mean. It's a little mean, Brad. And I think that JD, I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. I know you want to say something, but I think it's a little mean. But no one messaged me about Brad's information. I'm not giving it up. Go ahead, JD.
Right, so look, I think I understand where Brad's coming from. I've been to those shows where you see what we used to refer to as print mongers. They would be there and they would just have a wall of prints, and it was like, why are you selling Spider-Man? But whatever. You understand?
Yeah.
The thing is, the bad part of it is like, no, we shouldn't be wishing any bad on anybody. You don't want nobody to lose their homes. You don't want any of that stuff. I get his frustration. You understand where he's feeling, because you could be at a show and like you're there and you're trying to make table and you're trying to make a little bit more and you're trying to eat a cheese sandwich, and these guys are over there and they're busting out $2 or $3 grand a pop. Yeah. I've had a number of friends who did these. There were some guys over here who were floating around the East Coast where they had huge displays.
Yeah.
Huge displays.
Yep.
And these guys, there was one guy in particular, I haven't seen him in a while though, but he would be set up at 3 or 4 shows at the same time on the same weekend.
Yep.
And he
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and he would have people, set up for him and selling his stuff all over the place. And I spoke to him. He's a cool dude. And he did sequentials. He had his graphic novels on the table, but he knew where he was making his money. He told me, he said, listen, man, he says, I'm making 15, 20K a show. You understand? He says, I'm killing it. He says, I'm paying people to stay at those other shows for me. What are you going to say to that? You understand? And here, some of us are says, damn, bro, I'm lucky I make $600 this weekend. I'm lucky I cover my table. You understand? It says, if I had to rely on this show to eat, I'd be eating at McDonald's if I'm lucky.
I know a print guy who does that, and they've been busting him a lot lately because they found out that he's actually buying the art. He's commissioning the art from people, getting it done, printing it out, and then he comes to the Comic-Con. He has all these different art. You're like, wow, that's 10 different styles. That's pretty cool. And he never holds himself out as the artist. He holds himself out as the owner of the company. Right. And people get mad about that, and they say that the artists who do the pieces are actually getting really shitty wages to do it. But Jake, I'm gonna use them in a minute. But Rebel Gaming says, look, having those guys on either side of sales tables and allow these kinds to happen, they are spoken the will to keep the wheel turning. Look, I know people get mad about the size of the print walls. I don't. I've never been blocked by a print wall either. But at the same time, I understand some of the anger that these guys go through. But want someone to lose their house, nah, I'm not on board with that. Jake, go ahead.
He's muted.
What?
Did you want to say something about that?
The what now?
About the print artist, and Brad is hoping that they lose their homes.
IP stealing hoes. I don't know about that. There seem to be a lot of people that don't take into consideration that there might be just Indian and Chinese sweatshops that go around and do that and post it on Redbubble or other places already. So it's not just a local issue; it's an international issue.
And the print. Some of these guys are very talented. Like I know a lot of print artists who are super talented. And I hate calling them print artists. They're artists. They just happen to just make their money making prints.
Some of them are carnival gypsies that just set up at shows in order to move product and make money and move on. Or as we would call them, grift kings.
Guys, we're reaching the end of the show. I'm going to start with
we probably should have hit the end of the show about an hour ago, bud.
Jake, where are you from, sir? And let everybody know where they can find you.
He's from State Farm.
Yeah.
We're not from Backpacker anymore. Okay. Where people can find me? Well, let me just pop share screen and share. So people can find me on Twitter under the handle Jake Twister at JTwister. If you stomach bad art or bad humor, you'll probably feel comfortable. And me and the guys here are having a little bit of a bet now. How fast can I become banned from this site? We'll see that any percent speed run. It's failing me right now, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny to see it in a different language. I'm like, what?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
I had to pop it in the Microsoft Edge because
I am following you.
Thank you. And I'm out right now with my debut story in the 9 holiday special. Features 10 spanking new Christmas stories, holiday stories, 107 black and white as God intended, and that's about it. For $6.22, but you can get a 10% discount by using Festive 10, and it's on Lulu.com.
Very good, very good. Thank you, sir. JD, where can they find you?
They can find me on YouTube under JD Calderon, where I interview independent creators. They can find me on Facebook under JD Calderon. They can find me on the Oswald Chronicles, Tall Tales Online, Twitter under JD Calderon, and you can also check out. I have an Indiegogo going currently, about 2 days left. For those international backers, you can go check out the Indiegogo. There's plenty of PDFs there for you, so you don't have to. I actually do charge for international shipping. It does get very expensive. I know you guys had a question about that earlier. It does get very expensive. So I have PDFs, plenty of PDFs. You can go help yourselves. And like I said, a lot of different reward levels. So you can go check it out, YowzerChronicles.com.
So do you think shipping 2 comics and a T-shirt out to Great Britain for $88 is in the right ballpark?
No, because I've shipped literally like 6 pounds worth of books to New Zealand, and it was about $76. He may have been looking at the most premium rate, but if you look at different rates, for Britain, I think it's probably like $30-$40. Somewhere
it's still expensive, but it's probably not that expensive.
Right, not that expensive.
That's like UPS rates, because I know I shipped a novel over to somebody in the UK, and it cost me close to $80 just for the one book.
UPS,
but
UPS is ridiculous.
Post office is a lot.
Yeah, but UPS isn't meant to go overseas.
Right.
What way that they did
the
it?
United
They got it from me. They got it from me at the depot, and then they ended up using, I think, DHL after to get it to wherever they needed to go. So
outside contract,
Mm-hmm.
And Joe, where can they find you at?
They can find me on Facebook up under Joe D. McPhee, or up under the company imprint of Exigency Studios. That is XIGENCY Studios. You can also find me on YouTube from the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. And just to let people know, Randy is going to be on there this weekend. So we're going to have a, Get Educated episode there. So we got a lot to talk about there. We're going to have an informal conversation about comics.
What time is that this weekend?
I believe it's going to be 9:00 your time.
At night?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering because the wife wanted to go to church. So.
Yeah. They're not going to church this weekend? Okay. Randy, where can they find you at, sir?
She just sprung it on me today.
I just assume every weekend you're at church. So.
Oh, no. No. Hey, everybody, you can find me on Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. You can find me on Twitter under Randy Zim. I don't hang around there very often, but I might be hanging around there more often just to watch and see how long Jake ends up burning which bridge where, just to keep track. Usually I go up there just for hold my beer, but that's my sadistic nature. But anyway, you can find me on the Zim Geek channel over on YouTube, ZIMMGEEK. Other than that, you can find me here on Indie Volt. You want me to give the spiel?
Go ahead.
Give the spiel. We will be back tomorrow night with Geekgasm here on the Indie Volt channel at 9 p.m. Eastern time with Geek Talk from a more hopefully feminine perspective. That'll be hosted by Meredith Logren and Daphne Lage. Then Varian and I will be back Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time for the Breakfast Buzz, where we talk this same kind of talk again with maybe a little bit lighter fare and half awake. Then again on Sunday morning, I do a show called the Sunday Funnies, where we talk about the lighter side of comics, the more fun part of funny books, and the more whimsical aspects of the industry, hopefully, with guests. I have nothing lined up so far for this Sunday, so I couldn't even tell you what's happening there. And I think that's our. Then we'll be back again here on Tuesday at 9 p.m. for the regular Indie Vault Livewire main podcast. If you want to follow us on Indie Vault Radio, we are at indievolt.com. Indie Vault Radio. There's a app that you can buy on Google Play and on Streama in order to access the radio station. On the radio station, when we're not playing these kind of podcasts, we're playing some great alternative and independent music programmed by the indie princess herself. We have a Roku channel over at Indie Volt TV that you can reach through your Roku. I just poked around Plex today, now that I look at this. But on Indie Volt TV, you can pick up wrestling programs, movies of all kinds, and podcasts like this, only in a longer form, a more, shall we say, uncensored form.
Yeah.
That we may cover a few extra things there that you would not find on YouTube or the like. We do have that YouTube channel over at Indie Volt. There's the Indie Volt channel at YouTube. Please go over and subscribe, even if you don't listen to it very often. We get a lot of views over there. All of our Indie Volt podcasts are archived over there for your listening pleasure and at your convenience. But please go over there and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. We do pop on the air sometimes over the weekend or that whenever Varian feels inspired or something else comes up that we want to talk about. We haven't done it in a little while, but you never know when that can spring up again. We always invite your input and suggestions at Indie Volt Live at indievolt.com. Please include Indie Volt Live in the subject line. You can include Indie Volt Livewire in the subject line. You can please keep those emails to 90 words or less so that if Varian has time, he can type it out on a card so that we can discuss your letter at a future broadcast. We do appreciate all of your comments and suggestions and your questions. There's no question too serious or too silly for us to conquer and take on here at the Indie Volt Radio channel.
That's right. That's right. And Randy, they missed it last week on Indie Volt on Geekgasm. Lola made a special guest appearance. Just for a couple minutes.
The shoe cam returned temporarily.
Yeah, and then she had a fan sent her some new shoes, and these are the shoes, but she hasn't worn them yet. But she got some new shoes in the mail. I'm going to show you guys a sneak peek at the shoes. This is the shoes she was sent.
There we go.
She's like, "Oh, I can't wait to wear these," and I'm like, "Listen, guys, I don't know if you guys understand, but when your wife is walking through Walmart like that, you're like." All you can do is just like, yeah, I look down a lot when I walk. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Make sure you tell your friends about it. Go over to our YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Randy and I will be back with you Thursday for more exhilarating comic book talk.
Yes.
And
we'll see it, and we'll be Indie Volt will be back tomorrow night for Geekgasm.
That's right. That's right. You can find me, KYD_V on Twitter, lastcallcomics.com, my personal publishing company, as well as Indie Volt, Liberty Entertainment Distribution Group, LEDG.US, if you're looking for information on that, getting your books in the stores. Until then, I've been Varian Grant. You guys have been awesome. I'm going to take us out of here.
But before you go, we want to remind everybody of the immortal words of Jack Kirby, who says, "Kid, comics will break your heart."
I'm gonna make one after that. So, the immortal words of Varian Grant. Tired of this. And
also, 'tis the season, so we have a special note from I won't. Should we say a friend of the station?
Sure, why not? We'll just piss everybody off.
From a local viewer who says,
I hope you're having a nice holiday season. I really do.
Good night, everybody. I'll take us out of here. See you later.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Mhm.